What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Justin Henry here, and today we're doing mock draft Mondays. Listen, we every single Monday we're going to be mock drafting right here on this channel. Obviously, it's a long way until the season starts, but on this channel we can't do it average. You know what I'm saying? And if we're gonna mock draft, we got to do it the right way. So I'm gonna drop the link to the chat. We obviously got some Noti gang in the building. Ty was good, bro. Adams asking how to join the draft. I got the link coming right here. But first, it would, you know what I'm saying? Normally we do mock drafts by myself, but we gotta bring some help now. This year we're gonna have more help on the screen. Gotta bring my boy Prabat on, man. Y'all already know him, man. Prabat, what's good, bro?
Man, what's happening, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Ready to get it in, baby. It's about that time.
It is about that time. And listen, if you have not joined the mock draft, I just posted a link. Y'all can see it right there at the bottom of the chat. And you know, when you're drafting against me and P, obviously you're drafting against some heavy hitters, right?
Yeah.
But we might have to bring somebody else in this thing too. You know what I'm saying? And my guy over there, Tyler, we got a full slate today. Tyler, what's good, bruh?
Yo, what's up? How you guys doing?
It's one of them times, man. We got a mock draft, and obviously these are gonna fill up. And so if you want a mock draft for the first time, man, this year it's June 9th. So this is the time to get it in. Have you guys done a mock draft yet, P? Have you done a mock draft yet?
You know what? I have not done a mock draft yet this year. I have not.
I've done a lot of best ball drafts. I haven't done a mock or any drafts over on Sleeper yet.
Bro, I did my first one on Sleeper yesterday. My first mock on Sleeper, and it did not come out the way I thought it was going to come out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the 80, because I saw Ashton Genty goes pretty low on Sleeper compared to Underdog.
I was thinking he went high. He's like the RB5 on Sleeper right now.
Well, I've seen him go pick 7 on Underdog. So
oh wow,
it'll be interesting to see where what the ADP is compared to Underdog and all of that.
Well, I seen I know you're big on Amarian. Both of you guys are actually big on Amarian Hampton, but I seen he was going he's top 15, 17 RB off the board right now. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, as he should be.
Yeah, I'm a huge Amarian Hampton fan, man. You know, like I said in the last podcast, he's gonna be a second half stud for you. He's gonna be a league winner for you.
Yeah.
Here we go, league winner. Shout out to the chat. What's good? Ryan, what's popping? Cody, what's popping? Johnny Sports Network, what's popping? Said it's that time of year, homies. You know what? It is that time of year because this is the sparring session, right? I think everybody's like, oh, my draft's not till August. I don't have to do anything. But you kind of got to get a flow of the draft early on. And I feel like this is how you win your league. It's like you start drafting, you can some of those things in your head when you're like, yo, this is how I feel about a player. This is where you get exposed because now I know Tyler thinks Amarian Hampton's a top 15 RB. I better see him going in the third round. He's got to be going to – and don't take Alvin Kamara over him, bro. Because if you do, I'll know the truth.
No, I don't like Alvin Kamara. Sorry, my camera's I'm not a fan of Alvin Kamara this year. I mean, I wasn't last year. It kind of burned me, but I'm not again this year. I don't like that offense. No,
it's going to happen again.
You're saying Amarian Hampton over AK?
I'm saying Kamara over Amarian Hampton all day. It's not even close.
Good God, no. No, thank you.
What? How? Oh, Kamara, when did this hate for Kamara start? He was a top 5 guy last year before he got hurt per game average. So why the hate for him when it's probably going to be?
Yeah, you look at the splits with Kamara, and Kamara was first 4 games of the season when the Saints were actually a decent team, averaging 26 fantasy points per game. Then for the rest of the season, it was 15 fantasy points per game. He was down at RB 14 range. 30 years old. This offense has big question marks. I'm just not that. I like Kamara for where he's currently going. He goes after Amarian Hampton. I think Amarian Hampton has higher upside. Unless it's full point PPR, sure. But in half point, no, definitely Amarian easily.
Yeah, it seems like this at some point you got to let these people go. You know what I'm saying? Let them ride off into the sunset, Jay, because I know you like to hold on to them old heads, but it's he's an old head. He's on probably going to be a bottom 3 offense, and we already know what that looks like. The script is, they're going to start yielding to their younger players, just like last year, man. So
I had the same shit every year.
I mean, it kind of came to fruition last year too.
No, it didn't. He was still a top 10 guy last year.
No, through the second half of the season, he was like not who he was. He wasn't the guy who got you to the playoffs at that point.
There's a lot of players we could say disappointed in the fantasy playoffs. Trust me, I had a couple on my rosters. So it ain't just Kamara. It ain't just
no, it ain't Kamara.
What's popping, boy? He's tripping with Kamara. I might be a bit biased as a Saints fan. I just don't see like with Tyler Shook. I just see it being a very similar situation, but I don't know.
I mean, he could be. The only thing that I'll say is maybe Tyler Shook is not bad, but like we already know Spencer Rattler's terrible. Jake Hayner's terrible. So like there's a chance that Tyler Shook could be worse than those guys. And then you're looking at the quarterback room like, my God, this is horrible. So that's the one thing that I'd say.
On the flip side, what if he's better than we think? What if it's just a lot of Tyler Shook hating? What if he's actually better than we think?
Could be. I think that's kind of baked into his ADP. Once again, I don't mind where he, like, I would take Amarian because I feel good about Amarian and the team that he's on. I really like Amarian Hampton, but like Alvin Kamara for where he's currently going, I don't mind where he's currently going.
We're gonna see. Let's talk. We're gonna get into this. There we go. How's this look? You think that format or this one?
Probably that one.
This one.
Yeah.
All right, we got 3 spots left in the mock draft, man. If you guys want to get in, now is the time. I'll drop the link one more time here in the chat. 3 more spots up. Otherwise, we're gonna go with some bots. Oh, let me drop it in the Discord. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, throw it in the Discord. Is there any strategy to where you guys picked your spots?
You guys were up. I figured I'd just go in the back. You guys were towards the front.
I did that mock draft yesterday, and what I very quickly realized, at least for right now, is that I want no parts of that second half of that board. No parts, because when you get to the 5th round, it's ugly.
I like the back. I like the end of the first, personally. Well, we'll see. Once again, I haven't really drafted on sleepers, so
yeah, and it's tough drafting with like bots too. It's tough drafting, you know what I'm saying? Like versus like with real people.
Yeah, for sure. Bots, I don't like drafting with bots, especially later. Like bots get really weird with who they pick and stuff. They're not very smart.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to get this Discord sent to the Discord real quick. Give me a second. How many mocks you guys give for? 1, 2? How many we got?
I got time. I mean, I got time today. You know, I'm good for 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm good for 2.
And this the settings in this one just single quarterback.
So this is single quarterback. Yeah, we can do a whatchamacallit, a super flex next time if you guys want to. But this is 12 team, 3 receivers, 5 bench spots. All right. Send to the Discord. We got 2 spots left. 2 spots left.
Hey, can I answer that guy's question?
Which one? Tyler Shook or Loco?
No, yeah, Loco. He said advice for best ball leagues.
What's good, Jahan? What's up, fellas? Any advice for a best ball league? I've never played best ball. Going to try it out this year. Should I start drafts now or wait a few weeks? Tyler, handle that one.
Yeah, I think that. So if you start drafts now, like ADP is not quite figured out. So there's guys that I think, like, a prime example is Rashee Rice. He's gonna move up boards now that he's actually healthy. But if you're drafting like I was a degenerate a couple of months ago, like you could have gotten him like 4th, 5th round of drafts. Now he's going in the 3rd. So just drafting earlier, you're gonna get more value than when it's close to the season and like everybody's figured out, injuries have happened, that kind of stuff. And advice that I would say for best ball is just you want, like, I think the best build is 2 quarterbacks, like 6. I guess it depends on what site you're using, but if you're going to use like Underdog is like the prime site, 2 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, like 8 receivers and 2 tight ends is like the best build. And if you can, the best thing to do, this is how you win best ball. All right. This is how, or I don't want to say win, but have a good chance, is correlation matters in best ball. So stacking, you want to try to stack, and also week 17 correlation. Like everybody's like, well, you got to get there. Yes, you got to get there. But then week 17 is when you win the money. That's what you want to do. And you want to be able to look at week 17, like just go look at the week 17 games and just draft players that are going to play against each other. So like players from the Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders. Should be a high-scoring game, and who doesn't like pieces from those offenses? Like, draft players from those offenses. Draft good offenses, and just start low, too, like low buy-ins. Don't do the high-end buy-ins.
Yeah.
Just get, like, as many as you can to get a feel for it instead of doing, like, one $25 one, because that's not going to do you any good.
Yeah,
just try to get like low buy-in ones.
And you'll notice like sometimes you're going with the plan and it gets foiled very easily, right? Like in best ball, especially if you go and you're like, I need these two teams, there might be somebody else who just snags a player and messes up your entire plan. So I would say in best ball, I don't go too far away from like best player available. And I think stacking is a little overrated, right? So you don't need an entire offense. What you do want though is if you can get the quarterback and receiver and maybe the other quarterback or the other receiver on that team or something along those lines. It don't need to be your whole team that's correlated, but you do want to have some in higher profile games. So good point there, Tyler. All right, y'all ready to start this draft?
We pulled up. Yeah, man, let's get it.
Ready to win, yeah.
Oh, you ain't winning shit. All right, let's get it.
Let's go.
Let's get it. All right, so yeah, first, like I don't know, I feel like first round, the first 3 picks are pretty much set in stone. I'm curious to see how the go BC.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's how we know it's
crazy. Bijan's not working.
At the 101, I don't know, man. I'm still not sold on him being like the number 1 overall player. I mean, I get the upsides there, I get all that stuff, but why not take somebody who's already proven? You know what I'm saying? Why not take a Jamar Chase? Is he going to outscore Jamar Chase? You that confident he's going to do that? I don't know.
I think he could, but I would Jamar. You know me, I'm a sucker for Jamar Chase.
Give me that,
but I do. Bijan's my RB1 this year. I do feel good about like Bijan. A lot of people, I think, forget how Bijan finished in the last 10 weeks of this or last 12 weeks of the season. He had over 20 fantasy points in 10 of those 12 weeks.
Say it again.
He was so good down the stretch when he finally. They're like done with the bullshit Tyler Algier stuff. Like, I don't know what. Maybe they're just saving him. Like that could be the thing too. They didn't want to load him up with all the work early on. Just kind of save him a little bit. But down the stretch, he was so good.
Who is Pops 3836, and how are we auto drafted already with a 60-second clock on the first draft of the year?
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man. Well, I'm up here. And so Bijan, Saquon, Chase are gone. And I feel like for me, this is probably one of the you can't lose picks because you either get Jettis, Gibbs, or like CD to me. Those are the clear 3. I'm going to go with Jettis here, though. Go with Jettis.
Damn, man. All right. I'm going to go. I think they're going to air it out a little bit more. Now, look, I typically would go Amon-Ra right here, but, I mean, how do you guys feel about their the OC leaving?
Yeah, Ben Johnson's gone. I feel like this offense might look a little different. Frank Ragnow retired, and so it's just like there's a lot here with this Detroit thing, but they have the same pieces. So I'm not really, like, overly concerned with their offense.
I would definitely go with CD, though.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been down on them because like I get they have the same pieces and whatnot, but a lot of that was scheme. A lot like Shanahan, how he'll scheme players open and whatnot. There's talent there, I get it, but I don't know. I think I've been in my dynasty leagues. I've been shopping St. Brown.
I'm not mad at that. It seemed like they keep talking up J-Mo like he about to have this crazy year. I'm like, he already had 1,000 last year. How much more crazy is it finna get? Like, he's not going for 1,500.
Or is he? I mean, shit.
The thing is, he was like the thing about J-Mo. I don't want to talk too much about J-Mo, but the thing about J-Mo was like he was a top 10 pick, like, and they had a plan for him. He's one of the fastest receivers in the league, and if he added strength, he's already got decent size. Like, hey, P, what we be doing with them in Madden?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got the, and the fact that like they're factoring him on like end arounds, running game and whatnot, what have you. I'm not mad at it. Like there's a lot of pieces to feed on that offense, and when you take Ben Johnson out of the mix, like I don't know. I just feel like, and it's not like they have like an outstanding elite quarterback. It's just I felt it was just I don't know, man. I don't know, bro.
I think that it's drafting fatigue. I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is just such a good player that he'll be fine. Like I wouldn't even worry. Like, but I would say definitely like for me, he's more of 4. Like, I think CD should be viewed as this year's number 2 easily.
Yeah.
Like, I think CD is getting a bit. Well, he's even going in the side like to top 5, so I don't want to say. But like last year, people were taking him before the holdout, like as the like the number 1 pick in fantasy, because he's already shown us that he can do it as long as Dak is healthy. Like, he can get there. Like, we know it. We've already seen it. So CD for me is like, I think should be, in my opinion, there's a clear top 5 this year, and CD's inside that top 5.
Hey, real quick though, hold on, I'm gonna pause this real quick. How do I pause the draft? I don't know how to pause.
Go
over there.
I'm not going to. Yeah, right there. That one.
Right there, and that should be
real quick. I want to go over the first round, just real brief. Was there anybody in the first round you were like, yo, he didn't get picked, or like, why is he in the first round? Is there anything here where you're just like, something don't seem right with this?
No. Personally, not me. No.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, I get the injury concern. I just think Christian McCaffrey should have went at least in the back half of the top 5, or the back half of the first round. I get the injury concern. I get age is a thing and whatnot, but he would have been there like anywhere between 10, 11, or 12 for me.
Yeah, I don't mind that CMC bounces out. I think Genty going in the first is like, if you're banking your first round pick on him being 1,500-yard back, I think that's a lot to bank on in year 1 out of a bad offense. You know what I mean? So we got to see what it looks like with Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll there. Obviously, Geno's the quarterback, but I think Genty going over CMC kind of don't sit right with me right now. And then the other that I have is A.J. Brown. I think we forget who A.J. Brown is at times, and him kind of going after like he's the 9th. He'll be the 9th receiver off the board right now. I kind of feel like A.J. Brown should be in that first round discussion, but other than that, it's not too bad.
I don't know. I'm comfortable with A.J. Brown bouncing out of the first round.
Yeah, I think he should be more of it. Just because I think his ceiling's a little bit capped in that offense. That's the problem.
It's a lot of bit capped in that offense, man. Because
I think that he could be maybe the wide receiver 1. Like, if him and Jamar Chase switched, I would not be shocked if A.J. Brown was the wide receiver 1 in fantasy. Like, that's how good. But I'll gladly take him as my wide receiver 2.
Of course, I bet you will.
I'm not bad at it. But I mean, like, I had him last year though. Like, he was a little disappointing. I traded for him in the
league. Like, he was hurt. Remember at the beginning of the year, and he tried to play through it, and he had to take time. Like, it's easy to forget the injury. Like, and I actually have a video coming out on that. It's easy to forget players who are injured last year and how it affects their performance. Kind of like Michael Pittman dealing with the back injury, or like you get guys that they get the high ankle. Jonathan Taylor for the first half of the year dealing with that high ankle, and then we see who he is in the back half. So I think the same thing with A.J. Brown. It's easy to forget that sometimes.
But I don't think it's more so the injury concern. Like, they didn't really need to use him. His usage rate was low. Like, they're winning games without using him. You know what I'm saying?
I want to say, like, him and Saquon or Jalen Hurts and Saquon accounted for like 30 plus touchdowns on the ground last year. Like,
that's crazy.
It's just I think that's the only part for me that just like it caps him a little bit. I love A.J. Brown, and I think he's going to be right around like his normal 16, 17 fantasy points per game, which will be a top, a borderline top 10 guy. But I just don't think like him or Nico Collins. I think Nico Collins has the higher upside of an A.J. Brown, just because like I don't think he's capped in that regard on that offense. That's the only thing. But I think A.J. Brown is like, if you want to go with safety, I think that he's a very safe pick compared to like, maybe CMC. I would still take CMC over him, but something like that.
But you would take him. I mean, obviously you did, but you would take him over like Drake London.
Yeah, because I think like I don't know how good Penix is going to be. Like I think Drake London's a very good wide receiver, but there's still big question marks. I know Penix, maybe was okay at the end of last year, but still a very small sample size. Like, I feel good about the Eagles' offense. They're going to be one of the best offenses. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. Like, I feel good about that, but I think
like A.J. Brown is one of those players, though. He just like, and we don't have to keep being a dead horse, but like A.J. Brown's the kind of player we've been taking him as a top 5 receiver this whole time. So really, outside of Saquon Barkley coming there, what really changed? And I know that's a big piece to say what changed the offensive player of the year.
If the push would have got banned, I'd be even more.
Oh yeah.
Too. But we know he's still a big part of this offense, though.
No, he is.
Really, Yeah, he's a big part of his offense, but like when you think about like the running game's crazy, we know that, but their defense is getting even better. They're probably going to be up in a lot more games that they need to be. So I would rather take somebody who is going to be more prone to having like shootouts. I know, might be. Let me just.
So you'd rather have Drake London? Are you saying Drake London over AJ Brown? I think
I'm saying that they're very, very similar. I'm just saying the upside is good. I would rather chase the upside of Drake London. Like actually breaking out.
I think AJ Brown's a better real life wide receiver. So and it's like close between those two. I'd rather take him. Himothy asked who's the wide receiver 1 and RB1. We already know Jamar Chase and Bijan Robinson, right? Heading into this year.
Yeah, I don't really see a world outside of Saquon. I don't really see a world where that changes. Now with the
wait, what? Huh?
Outside of Saquon, I think he's the only one that can really compete. I think Gibbs can, but he's a lot more enticing.
If you want to say
when David Montgomery's out,
if you look at it, all right, in technicality,
yes, because 18, yeah,
weeks 1 through 18 in full point PPR, he was the RB1 last year.
But like I said, that a lot of that's attributed to David Montgomery being out too. So I think with both of them healthy, I don't see him RB1.
Oh, easily RB1. I think it's a clear top 3 this year.
Yes,
like it's those 3.
Now, if I had to say, I think a running back.
You're saying Chase, Bijan, and Gibbs is the clear top 3?
No. Top 3 running backs.
Oh yeah, top 3 running backs. Yeah.
The only running back that I think hasn't, and I've never been a big Devon Achane guy, but he is basically like Alvin Kamara this year. And he's proven now over the year, like I think for me, the durability was always the biggest thing with Devon Achane. Is like, can you stay healthy for a whole season? We hadn't seen it. And I think he even got banged up a little bit last year, but he proved he can play a whole season. And for me, if you're catching the rock like that, if Tua's healthy and you're as big a part of this offense, we didn't really, to be honest, we didn't really see a whole lot of big plays out of Devon Achane last year. It wasn't a lot of them 70, 80-yard TDs he had that first year. If they get any of that this year, that's Chris Johnson, that's Alvin Kamara, that's like big potential. I could see him being an RB1 this year.
100%. Like I'm with you on that. That's why it baffles me for people to take Genty over Achane. That's crazy to me. Like Achane is not only like lightning in a bottle, but he's mad. His usage is crazy. All the screens, all the dump offs, all that's the way that they use him in the red zone. I would take Achane 10 times out of 10 over Genty.
Yeah. 10 times out of 10.
I'd rather have Genty.
You rather have Genty?
Talk about it, man.
You got to explain that one, bro.
Yeah,
I think that we're overthinking Genty. Like,
Genty. So how do you figure? Because here's before I'll say it up for you.
All right, wait. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Like we've already talked about this before. Running back since over the past 10 years, drafted inside the top 12 of the NFL draft, 100% hit rate of being an RB1 their first season in the league. It's 100%. So his floor is an RB1 in fantasy football this year.
Okay.
Then he's going to a situation. I don't think that the Raiders are going to be bad. Like, I think that the Raiders are actually going to be a decent offense this year. I think Geno Smith is a big improvement over what they've had. They have a decent offensive line. You have Brock Bowers, year 2. Dude already broke the rookie target record of any pass catcher like ever. The dude's going to be a stud. He's basically a wide receiver out there. So you got your wide receiver 1. You have a solid wide receiver 2 in Jacoby Myers. Then you add this guy in this offense with legit no competition. There's no competition for touches. Day 1, he's automatically the guy. He's going to get 300 total plus touches easily this year. He's a good receiving back. Like, he's going to play all the downs, be an absolute workhorse for a decent offense that I think will run the football when they get in close. Like, the one thing that I'll say about Devon Achane is the splits are big if you're not in full point PPR, which most people play in full point PPR. But if you look at full point PPR leagues to half point, he's very reliant on those targets and receptions, just like AK is, where he goes from RB6 to RB5 in full point to RB11 in full point or in half point leagues, just because he's so reliant on those targets. So that's the one thing, like, for me, definitely Genty in half point and full point. Yeah, I think that you could say.
I feel like Achane though, when it comes to Achane, it's like last year is Raheem Mostert the guy they're using the red zone. He's also spelling them, and it's like you don't really have that risk. Is Jalen Wright going to come in and take over? We know Jalen Wright is not the answer. Devon Achane is going to get all the work he can handle, and a lot of it was Tua was out for a good portion of that year as well with all the concussions. So now you step into a role where you're going to get more touches, and all that shit about these rookie running backs. It's always they finish in the top 12. You're taking him as a top 12 pick. You're taking him as number 8.
How far do you go back with that knowledge or with that statistic of every running back?
10 years.
But a top 12 running back really doesn't mean shit.
How many running backs were taken in the top 12 in the last 10 years?
You had Gurley, Zeke, Saquon, Fournette, CMC, Gibbs, Bijan. Like you have
they
your best running
Trent Richardson was there, right?
Trent Richardson was an RB1 his first year.
Hey, his first year was
RB7.
From the catches,
if you want to say Trent Richardson, that's fine. He could be included because he was an RB1.
Yeah, they're gonna use him. I think Genty will be fine. It's just you have to take him at his ceiling.
Here's my thing. You're with what you're saying, and this is just my opinion. What you're saying about Genty, all of that could be true, and if it is true, then he's Devon Achane of last year. When you could just take Devon Achane, right?
Sure, but I would also argue that, like, objectively, Genty is a much better prospect than Achane is. So, like, you're getting a theoretical higher ceiling out of Genty because Achane is not going to touch the ball 350 times. Like, he's not going to be able to handle that. Genty can. Genty can touch the ball 350 times. Like that's like you're getting maybe like you're not going to get the big explosive plays like Achane can, but you're just getting the volume that Achane won't get that Genty will get.
I don't know.
Achane's getting like 6 catches a game too.
Yeah, once again, in full point PPR, I'm okay with that. I think in half point leagues, I think that's when the conversation should shift to Genty. Like that's when it goes to Genty.
Well, what do y'all think about this? Because obviously, like we've also seen the rise of like tight ends. Like we saw McBride and Brock Bowers really play a big role last year for teams. Like there was a big drop off after those two, especially like the way Brock Bowers kind of came on the scene. But then also QB. Like Lamar Jackson had a historic type of year. Josh Allen was right there behind him. And now we're seeing, we saw rookie Jaden Daniels also in there, but like we're seeing this is where the tight ends and the quarterbacks are going off the board. Personally, I think there's a lot of talent, especially at the quarterback spot, maybe not as much at tight end, but I think there's a lot of talent. I find myself kind of fading those positions early on, but as you can see, 2 tight ends, 3 quarterbacks off the board already in single QB and single tight end leagues. P, how you feeling about that, bro?
Look, I mean, typically, if it's a 1 quarterback league, I'm waiting on quarterback, right? If it's a 1 quarterback league, I'm waiting. But there's only so many opportunities you're gonna get for like, okay, look, this guy's almost 30 fantasy points a game. If I could get Josh Allen, I'm gonna get him. If he's there, I'm gonna get him. But typically I wait. But for players like blue chippers, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson's. Those are probably the only 2 that I would take early on or at their draft position in a 1 quarterback league.
Definitely those 2. Those 2 are the 25 points, fantasy points per game type of guys. Like I would argue maybe not so much. Like I was considering Jalen Hurts partially because I had AJ Brown too, but like Jalen Hurts, we know can put up big weeks. Has that rushing upside. But it definitely Lamar. And then the 2 tight ends, I'm okay with Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. Like those 2 guys are number 1, number 2 targets on their teams. They showed it last year, like how good they can be. Like Brock Bowers, I want to say was averaging 16 fantasy points per game, which is a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. So like I'm okay with those 2 guys. I don't think I want to take them, but I'm okay with like where they go. Like if Trey McBride would have fallen to me at the 310, I definitely would have taken him personally.
You say that. You said that Rashee Rice would have still been on your team. You're like, well, if Rashee Rice wasn't there, I know how it is, Tyler. You over there, you talking it, but I see you.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. I mean,
I would have taken Trey McBride there.
You got McBride over Rashee Rice, like just bar for bar.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Just because if Rashee Rice, I will say, like, it seems that he's healthy.
Oh, shit.
He's a full go. If he's a full go, then yeah.
I feel like the tight ends, the thing is it's those two and you really have to reach, but there's such a plethora of talent at the top, in my opinion, that like I'm not even thinking quarterback or tight end right now because you got Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker going around after the quarterbacks, the tight ends, and Chase Brown. How are they going after Chase Brown? That makes zero sense to me. Like, I just think that there's a plethora of talent in the draft. And then once those top end receivers and running backs are gone, things get a little bit more dire. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that Najee Harris is a Charger. Woo! By people, who do you mean? You mean Tyler?
Najee Harris, the guy that everybody shitted on.
Bro,
magically, everybody wants to remember he's a Charger now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, T. I'm like, look, people remember Najee's a Charger and are still taking Omarion Hampton. That's what it is, bro.
The Chargers remember that the Chargers remember that Najee's a Charger, and they're like, hey, guess what? We're gonna take Omarion Hampton with a top 25 pick in the NFL draft because this guy fucking stinks. That's exactly what happened. This guy stinks. So we're gonna take Omarion Hampton because he's 10 times better. So
talk that shit.
Draft Omarion Hampton because 11 point per game Najee Harris is there, then please let him continue to fall because historical data points to, once again, if we want to bring this up, 80% hit rate of guys who are drafted inside the first round running backs are RB1s their first year in the league.
These magic numbers. These
ESPN
numbers.
Over the past 10 years. So go ahead and be worried about Najee Harris.
No, but he's the starter. Like until Omarion Hampton is being named the starter, why are we taking him over James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, and Joe Mixon?
James Cook, okay, there's one that you want to talk about. You didn't like him last year. The reason why James Cook had a good year last year is because of inflated touchdown rate. He still didn't touch the ball. He was a below, I want to say right around 50% opportunity share kind of guy. That's really bad. His
You're
touches
talking about inflated numbers, but bro, Omarion Hampton don't even have that spot right now. Who knows how many touches he's going to get? Is he getting 15 at all this year?
Omarion Hampton with a top 25 pick to not use him. Like, come on.
Who are they more invested in, Jay? Najee or Omarion?
You're talking about what they're more invested in.
I believe Najee's on a $3 million
they're paying him
deal.
more. They're paying Najee more than they're paying Omarion Hampton this year.
I don't think that they are. I think
Omarion got a full.
No, I think Omarion's fully guaranteed.
This season, Najee Harris makes more money than Omarion Hampton.
Okay,
there's no other way to put it. So they're more invested in him.
No, that's not true, bro. You trying to get
what's the salary? You tell me it's not true. What's the salary? What's Omarion Hampton's salary?
G?
I'll look it up right now.
Omarion Hampton, bro, is significantly a better player than Najee Harris, and it's not fucking close. And obviously, he's already almost
making 17 million for 4 years, 17 million. So what's he making? 4 million a year?
And what's Najee making? 3?
Yeah.
5. No, Najee's at 5. Najee's at 5. So I think Hampton is a good player. I'm not saying that I don't think he's a good player. And I think that at some point he's going to take over. But I think everybody's trying to preemptively assume he's going to be the starter. And I damn sure I'm not taking him in the top 15 running backs when I'm hoping if I'm in the fantasy playoffs and the fantasy championship, I'm hoping that he's a top 15 running back at that point. Like praying. You're drafting him as a top 15 running back?
You don't gotta pray. This is where
you do have to pray.
No, this is where skill comes in.
Please, please, Omarion, please. You gotta start doing Omarion dances and shit.
Bro,
you feel me? Like, bro, praying, bro.
Jaylen Warren was better than Najee Harris last year. What do you think Omarion Hampton's going to be?
Najee Harris whatsoever. Najee Harris.
This is where skill comes in, though, Jay, because you got to, at some point, you got to be like, all right, let me just get off the Najee train. You know, you stuck with it. You know what I mean? You're hard-headed, and we respect that.
You trying to call it the Najee train. It's not the Najee train. It's just he's a good football player, not great. He's good enough to maintain the starting role for a little bit, and you got to know.
You know who else was good?
It's situational.
You know who else was a good football player? Like a good football player, good, like decent. He can be a decent running back. Gus Edwards. And what happened? Like J.K. Dobbins came in, and he was just better. And they said, okay. Hey, guess what, JK? You're the guy now. What do you think's going to happen week 4 when Najee Harris is plotting to a 3.5 yard per carry average once again? And there's our Omarion Hampton at 4.5 yards a carry. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? We invested 1 full year into
No,
Najee
the
Harris.
thing is, you wasn't talking like Najee Harris is just ass. He said,
He is ass, bro. He is ass.
He's 1,000 yards every year. Literally been 1,000-yard back every
Off
year.
the volume. He's not going to
He's
have the volume.
Come on.
He's not going
been
to have the volume.
back every single year. So you're talking about yards per carry, yards per result. He had 1,000-yard back. You don't just bench that and be like, oh, we got Amari on Hampton. Najee Harris just isn't going to play at all. We signed him.
So
back, he's not going to play. Come on.
I think he had like what, one season where he averaged, I think, at 4 yards a carry. Everything else is under that. Am I tripping?
He's 1,000-yard back no matter how you frame it.
Bro, you have to have efficiency. It's not about how you frame it. In this offense, they got a clear identity, right? They lost JK because he's hurt. Gus Edwards been ass. Who else was on the RB market that, you know what I'm saying, that they could rock with?
They could have re-signed JK. They could have re-signed JK.
Like, JK's little and he's hurt.
Yeah,
bro.
They did it, and they're like, hey, holy shit, this running back class is one of the greatest running back classes we've seen. So let's take our guy in the first round. We got other needs at other places, but my God, we got Najee Harris sitting on the roster. My God, we cannot go into next season with him as our starter. We need our guy. We got our guy in Amarian. That's what happened.
We'll see. I'll clean up on Najee in the 6-7.
Okay.
You're good. That's all you, G. That's all you, bro.
Who else? Who guys? Because right here, I feel like this is where the draft starts to get a little bit more like you got to reach on players. There's not the star power. This round seems to have like evaporated very quickly. Are you guys?
Know who I like right here?
Yeah,
I like Tat.
Oh,
you like Tat right there, huh?
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, top 10 wide receiver in the NFL draft. Easy. Should be like there's a chance that he's not good. Like that could happen.
Yeah.
But you know, number 1 target on his offense. Like I like some of the other over who?
Travis Hunter.
Oh, is Travis Hunter still? Oh, I didn't see he was down there. Fuck.
Yeah.
I would have taken Travis Hunter. Yeah.
You know what's crazy about Ted is because
I think you're good with Ted over Travis. That's just me.
The thing is, you're tied to Bryce Young. They also drafted Xavier Legette last year early, right? You still got Adam Thielen there. There's still like not enough ball to go around because I don't think Bryce Young just takes this major leap to like 4,000-yard passer. And I think if we're expecting like, you know, in Jacksonville, you talk about it, I would take Travis over him too. Like Travis going to be able to throw. Trevor Lawrence can be able to throw the rock over 4,000 if he stays healthy. And Evan Ingram's gone. So it's like I just see a bigger path for Travis Hunter, even if he's playing both sides.
You know, after our conversation, I've been thinking about that a little bit more, and you're probably right. You know, there's just more opportunity.
I would have went with Travis there.
You said what else is new after we just said 5 minutes on Najee, and you talking about what else is new? Come on.
That's my pick. Now my team doesn't look as good.
Your team does not look very good, actually.
No, it doesn't, Tyler.
That's the first time I agree with you all day, Tyler.
Are you kidding me? Look at my 3 wide receivers. Those are 3 wide receivers.
And then I look at who are your backs. You got a backup running back starting as your RB1. Come on.
That's all right, because guess what? I'll get somebody off of waivers. This is a 3 wide receiver league. I don't give a shit about running backs.
No, I hear you.
Except I'm about to get another RB1 because he's about to slip to me. I know Johnny Sports may put sports in his name, but he doesn't know sports. So
he may put sports in his name. How do we feel about Pacheco? You know, this is actually a really interesting question because the team did re-sign Kareem Hunt. They drafted another guy really late, Rashard Smith. And then I feel like this team, you know, obviously they're not going to run the rock the same, but he was coming off that injury last year and did not look the same. There was reports that it would take him like a year to look the same on the field. I'm out. Like, I haven't been drafting Isaiah Pacheco, but like he's going after the top 20 backs. Is this a value pick?
I like him for where he's going. I think that there's running backs in that range too. Like, you know, we'll talk about them when they come up, I'm sure. But like the Giants backfield, the Jags backfield, like I don't mind where he's currently going because like he was being drafted as a top 3 running or in the 3rd round last year.
Yeah, and
it like I get it. He wasn't very good, but he's also coming off a serious injury at the end of the year. So I don't think that you can say like, oh, they went with Kareem Hunt. Yeah, they brought in Kareem Hunt, but like Kareem Hunt's dusty. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is that good, but I don't mind taking the chance.
Tyler, what'd you say about Kareem Hunt?
He's dusty.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is honestly that good, but like where he's currently going, it's we know the Chiefs' offense is a very good offense. I don't mind him for where he's going. I don't.
You got Hampton and Harvey, bro. You just saying, hey, I'm gonna do a rookie draft. Is this the dynasty effect, bro?
I think that RJ Harvey is walking into a situation that Jaleel McLaughlin. That's what you're gonna. He's preventing him from getting
Audric Estime.
Jaleel.
I think RJ Harvey is walking into a great situation. He was drafted at the beginning of in the second round there. I mean, I like him. I'm okay with my running backs right now. I'm not expecting a ton of production early on, but there's guys on this draft that are going later that I know that I can rely on early on. And once these guys blow up, I'm fine with it.
Well, and you make a good point because like Harvey, I actually like Harvey. There's a running back who hasn't gone yet that I think might be better than both Harvey and Hampton as a rookie that hasn't gone yet. But I also think that we got some clarity on his situation because there was talks that Nick Chubb was going to go to Denver and potentially be part of that backfield. He is now in Houston, and I don't think this affects Joe Mixon's value at all. I think the person this hurts has is probably the tryhard in that backfield, Dameon Pierce. I think Dameon Pierce, unfortunately, is probably going to be the cut victim.
I will say Joe Mixon is banged up already, so it is a little interesting that they brought Chubb in.
This give me 2007 vibes, P. Still in my pick. I was talking about Quinshon Judkins. He's going to be elite this year.
Yeah, no, I think, but you know what's funny though? Like, as good as Mixon is and was last year, yeah, he may be banged up. I think that this is. I think I like Chubb. I like where he lands, and I think it's going to be like a 1A 1B type situation. That like Chubb is, when healthy, is a more talented runner of the football. You know what I'm saying? And he's probably one of the most talented runners in the game when he's healthy again, right? But I don't know. I like it.
Devastating injury. That's the only thing is just like, what's he going to look like coming off of the injury? If we do get shades of Nick Chubb, then I do think it will be a problem for Joe Mixon's upside because I think Nick Chubb was arguably the best pure runner right there with Derrick Henry in the league. Like those two guys are in terms of just being a running back. Well, two of the best
really
running backs.
Nick Chubb right now? I mean, dude averages 3.5 yards a carry. He has no knees. Why are we really worried about Nick Chubb taking?
I'm not saying that.
What are you talking about, bro?
We're just saying if he's reminiscent of Nick Chubb of old. That's all I'm saying.
I'm reminiscent of Nick Chubb. They say I look like Nick Chubb, so I don't want to hear that shit. Like this, I think Nick Chubb to me.
That's Chubb. Hey, man.
Yeah, they be like, you look like Nick Chubb. I'm like, bro, what? Anyway, yeah, like Nick Chubb to me, I just feel like he don't got no knees. Like, I'm not really worried about him. He's like Cam Akers was last year. If something happens to Joe Mixon, they can beat him 15 times. I don't really see a big like.
Cam Akers isn't even in the same stratosphere as Nick Chubb's.
Yeah, I don't think you could write him off like that. I mean, he had that knee injury too. Coming out, right? He had that knee injury in college, and he still became Nick Chubb. I know he's older now, whatnot, what have you, but maybe he doesn't come back 100% to what we know as Nick Chubb. But still, if he's not 100%, if he's still getting you 4 yards a clip, still running with that same vision, I think it's a problem. I think it could be a problem. I mean, for Mixon at least.
Hey, after this round, I'm going to tighten the clock up to 30 seconds, just so you guys.
All right, let's do it. Let's get it.
How y'all feeling about these drafts right now? Is anybody's team you're looking at, you're like, ooh, I don't like what they're doing, or maybe somebody's team you're like, oh no, I see what you're doing over there. Like anybody that stands out?
I don't really like my drafts so far. I don't know. I every time I'm like, okay, there's Josh Allen there, but every time I'm like, man, I could have had any one of these other quarterbacks and went wide receiver. But still, I mean, like, if you can get somebody who's putting up Josh Allen numbers on a weekly basis, I think it does give you a slight advantage.
It's a good anchor. Yeah, you definitely, that ain't a P team.
It's not.
That ain't a P team.
I mean,
Kelsey, damn. Kelsey after Jonnu?
Hell yeah, dude. Kelsey's washed, in my opinion.
I kind of want to reach for a player right now, but I'm not going moment too. I'm gonna reach for somebody else instead.
Oof.
What happened to oof? You ain't with the pink bags, bro, in the yachts.
I'm proud of you.
You ain't trying to party with Diggs.
I just don't like these guys coming off the ACL tears. That's the biggest problem with Diggs. ACL tear at his age, I don't think he's even with the team right now.
He's been at
OT. He is. He's with the team.
Yeah, he been practicing. He looks full speed too. Because if he don't play, he don't get paid.
No thanks.
I'm not mad at the. You know, the thing is, I'm not mad if you're like, hey, I don't like Diggs. But to be honest, I'm like, he's free right here. In the 7th round, I think
Diggs is free. And if
he's free and he's the number 1 receiver right now for the New England Patriots. So I'm like, if you get a number 1 down here, that's free. That's free money.
All right, fuck.
Free money.
Free money. A number 1 down here to me is free money, and especially
Olave is number 1.
Yeah.
I was looking at him too.
Calvin Ridley's a number 1.
I was looking at him too.
Yeah, but those guys are coming off of ACL tears. That's the biggest problem I have with Diggs. If Diggs wasn't coming off the ACL tear, well, I mean, he'd be going higher anyways.
Yeah, he'd be going higher. But
I would take Diggs over Olave. To me, that's easy. I think that kind of Ridley. That's where it's like it's close to me. I just see that the Pats got a quarterback who probably is going to take the next step. He has shown flashes. Does look like he's talented. Chris Olave has nothing going for him. What's up?
You talking about Drake May?
Yeah, I think Drake May is going to take a next step.
Tyler normally does too, but he ain't talking about that.
No, I have no questions about Drake May. I have questions about Diggs, 31 years old, coming off an ACL tear that was later. Well, it's about midway point in the season. I just don't like that. For me, I don't like. That's the biggest problem that I have with it. It's not. I think Drake May is going to be fine this season. That's just
so Drake May's. So I guess the $1 million question is if Drake May is going to be fine and say he throws for 3,300 yards. Let's just call it. I think that's a fair number to assume if he plays.
I already know what you're going to say. That's not why we're drafting Drake May.
Who's the number 1 receiver?
Kyle Williams.
Just like Jalen Polk, right? Just like Javon Baker, right?
No, I think it's going to be a slew of guys.
Just like Kayshon Boutte, right? Like
I'm not drafting Drake May for the passing upside. Like that's a bonus. I'm drafting Drake May because the rushing upside.
But there has to be production. It's the same thing we do every year. It's the same thing with Cleveland last year, right? Like Cleveland last year, we were like, okay, cool. We're not taking any of their receivers. And then what happens? One of their receivers has to do something. We get Jerry Jeudy. We get that kind of production. It's like
how many wide
receivers? There has to be the production somewhere in the offense, at least to me. Unless you're on Tennessee and you get touchdowns out of Nick Westbrook or Keen every fucking week.
I think Drake. Once again, I think Drake May is going to be fine. You could say Stephon Diggs could be the number 1 target there, but I just don't think it's going to be a guy that is going to have.
If he's the number 1 target there, it's probably not going to be much. I think it would. Yeah. I think like we seen last year, every other quarter of the season they had a different number 1 wide receiver. It seemed like it seemed like Kendrick Bourne was getting his shine when he was healthy. I'm not good with names, but the little quick shifty
Mario
guy.
Douglas,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, they kind of were getting their shine at certain periods of the time. So, but I think even if that 3,300, let's say he gets a quarter, let's say he gets a third of that, right? Like 1,100 or like 10, a rack. What's his touchdowns going to look like?
Say it's 5 to 6. That's down here. It's crazy. This is like 700, 800.
Couldn't you say the same for Calvin Ridley? I mean, Calvin Ridley was good last year.
I think Calvin Ridley's a steal down here.
Yeah,
I would have taken Calvin Ridley.
The problem is just like he's not coming off the ACL tear. That's the only.
I just think volume wise, I'm a little bit more impressed with Diggs' floor. I think this year, outside of the injury risk,
Diggs a better wide receiver.
I think Diggs is a better wide receiver, and I think he has a better floor receptions wise. I think on a weekly basis he does.
I think Calvin Ridley. I like Calvin Ridley because I just look at him and say, who the hell is going to catch the ball here outside of him? Like he's going to be a target.
All right. Quick I got two quick announcements real quick before we get to the second half of this draft. First announcement is we have fantasy football training camp. August 2nd and 3rd. Make sure you guys go there. If you want a free ticket, I just put the code in the comment sections, FTTC free. Enter that code. It's on FFTCcamp.com. That's the website. Make sure y'all go to it. Virtual event. It's finna be loaded. We got Dante. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that yet. We have some big NFL players that potentially will be there. Some speakers that will be there. So make sure you guys get your ticket right now, FTTC free. And then the second announcement I have is that I know a 14-year-old that can already 360 windmill. His name is Tyson Henry. Go ahead and follow his page right here, Time, TYME. Y'all drop him a follow, Tyson Henry _22. Shout out to the GOAT, man. He hit a full court shot the other day. A full court shot. Deadass in the middle of a game. I'm like, who does that, bro? So make sure y'all drop him a follow, show him some love. He's also asking about TreVeyon Henderson, fellas. How do y'all feel about TreVeyon Henderson as I get this draft restarted?
I mean, I like it. He's talented coming out and whatnot. I don't know. I like him. Running quarterback. As far as the rookies go, rookie running backs, he probably would be like, but obviously behind RJ Harvey for me in the others. I don't know. Maybe I'm not too high on him.
I love TreVeyon. I would say like rookie year TreVeyon may not be great just because, although I'll say this about TreVeyon. Like when I was, let me make this pick. I think I'm just going to go with like,
look, TreVeyon to me is a good backup running back. I think everybody's anticipating he's going to take over the starting role.
Running back though.
You think he's starting over Ramondre?
No, I think it's more of a. I think the split between TreVeyon Henderson and Ramondre will be reminiscent of like what Detroit does. Like that's how I've always viewed TreVeyon Henderson. He's not going to be a bell cow running back. What he's going to be is he's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs-esque, where he's already the best running back coming out of this class in pass protection. He's one of the best pass protection backs like your top scouts has ever seen. So he's going to be this team's receiving back. He's explosive, has home run ability. I think that he's going to be this team's receiving back. He'll push Ramondre Stevenson because he's better than Ramondre Stevenson. I don't think he'll ever fully take over the role, but he'll be in that role, Jahmyr Gibbs-esque, where it's going to be more of a 1A, 1B, and he's going to be the 1A.
This is
not
the
playing
big
all of it.
Problem with the fantasy/dynasty community, though.
No,
Tyler, you're already ready to give a rookie who has to earn their role the starting spot or more touches over a player who's proven to earn a contract. Ramondre Stevenson has earned a long-term contract. He's already proven he can be
asked. What are you talking about? Guys that are asked get contracts. It happens.
Yeah, oh shit, that was my pick. Hold on a second.
Way to go. Look at you. auto pick.
Hold on. We definitely not taking we're not taking Mark Andrews. That's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing.
No, you made the pick.
Oh, you're right. I did.
No,
I'll say this. I'll just jump in here while you guys are going at it. I don't think the Pats were too happy with Ramondre himself. Right. There are times where it's like, where the hell's Ramondre? Why aren't they running Ramondre? Yeah. I think that they made that pick strategically. So, I think you have to be a little bit more fluid. And when you're analyzing this type of stuff and you're trying to think like, okay, who's going to get more? Sometimes it doesn't matter if they got paid. Just flat out. If they got paid and they're in it, sometimes it don't.
It always matters when they get paid.
It does not. It does not always matter when they get paid, bro. It doesn't. That's just a fact. It don't. We're not gonna go back to Najee, but that's just it. It don't. If somebody's more talented, they're gonna get the run.
I think TreVeyon is very talented. Put it that way. I think when I was doing my research this offseason on the rookies, I was like, oh shit, he shines off the screen. Like you could just tell he's going to be a good back. So I mean, it wouldn't shock me. I just don't think initially we're gonna get that early on. But
no, I agree with that. Once again, I think it's rookie year TreVeyon, I don't think is going to be, you're going to see the full potential. I think there's going to be flashes in the pan with TreVeyon, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that later in the season will break out a little bit. Next year will be that darling pick that can just explode. But year one TreVeyon may not be the guy that you hope for, just because the path to touches isn't as clear as, RJ Harvey, isn't as clear as, maybe even a Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah.
But I think that he's very talented.
No, I hear that. And I think rookies are probably, rookies are tough because at some point the team is going to say, well, what do we have? Especially a team with the Patriots who they're probably not going to be a 9-10 win team. They're probably going to have a lesser record. And at some point think, okay, let's get our younger players the rock. So I can see it happening. It's just a matter of like, how much do you need to invest? So I think at the rate where you got them, round 6, after you've gotten your starting receivers and running backs, it's not a bad upside play.
No, I think he's fine for where he's currently going. There's definitely upside there. And the last thing I'll say is, once again, the problem with rookie running backs that you see them getting on the field is their passing or their work in pass protection. Yep. A majority of the time, these guys are not good.
That is true.
The fact that he is a very, very good pass protection running back gives him the ability to already get on the field right now. So that's where I think he will get on the field, and at that point, what he can do with it. He also was a little bit banged up in college. He's got to stay healthy in the pros, but there's a pathway there, and I just think he's very talented.
I did not like that pick. Somebody stole my pick. I was going to pick Michael Pittman, but I panicked a little bit there. With the smaller clock, hey, I'm not mad at taking Kyler down there, though.
No, Kyler's fine. Yeah. I think Travis Etienne's a good pick, too.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate the love. Is there going to be a draft guide this year? If so, when will it be available? There will be a draft guide this year. Some future changes to how that's going to be delivered will be announced very soon. Draft guide will be on the way, though. More than likely in July sometime, just as an ETA. I want to know what's good, Ryan. He said, I want to know why Caleb Johnson isn't getting more attention. He was insane at Iowa, and trust me, Warren is not the starting back at Pittsburgh. I agree with that, and I think Caleb Johnson has a very good potential here. It's just I think he's not getting as much attention because he doesn't have like a clear path. It's the same thing as some of these other backs. It's when we know they're the starter, we know how the touches are going to be designated, they'll get a little bit more attention.
No, I agree with that. I think that Jaylen Warren isn't the guy, but Jaylen Warren's going to be involved. He's going to have a role on the team. And then also there's just Arthur Smith gets the bad rep.
Yeah.
And then also how good is that offense going to actually be? There's just a lot. I think Caleb Johnson, for where he's going, is fine, though. I think he's fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these other players that are going right now because it feels like this is quarterback territory. I just had a conversation with NFL Network's Laquan Jones. If you haven't watched it, you guys can watch it on the channel. But Bo Nix, we talked about Bo Nix, and he was like, I'm taking Bo Nix over Patrick Mahomes. He's like my top 10 guy. I feel like Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that go, and I probably should not have taken Kyler Murray, but there's a bunch of quarterbacks that go in this range that are all similar upside, similar floor to me. And I'm like, I have trouble ranking them because I value them based off personal bias and players that you like. Because I kind of feel like this range, they're all 17 to 20 point quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? T-Law could go here. Dak could go here. Justin Fields could go here. Jared Goff could go here. There's a lot of potential QB2, high-end QB2s that go in this range.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's C.J. Stroud down there, Drake May breakout, Dak Prescott. It's I think it just speaks to dude, you don't even need to take a quarterback. You don't need it in single quarterback leagues. You don't need to take one. You could be just fine with all of them if you stack the rest of your roster. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Even though I got Josh Allen, I'm still I'm still I regret it. Why? What happened?
Why are we? Why?
Was that
Bayshal Tootin?
He ran a 4.3.
I think that running back room is. You look at where Etienne's going. Obviously, the public doesn't know how to address this running back room. I think it's a fluid situation right now. Etienne's on the 1 year. This is last year with the team. Mm-hmm. Who knows? This team they've invested already. You talk about investments. This team has invested into Bayshal Tootin.
What round did he go in?
4th round.
What round did
But here's the problem. Here's the one thing.
What round did that Tank
one
Bigsby
saving
going?
grace. This is the one. What?
What round did Tank Bigsby going that they invested in?
They didn't invest in him.
What round did he go? What round did Tank Bigsby go in?
3rd.
So he went to 3rd. They invested in him, or they didn't invest in him. But then they shot him in the 4th, and they invested in him.
I think still if Bigsby was in this draft class, he probably would have been a 6th round running back.
Absolutely. Like this is this is one of the problems though that I'll say. Yeah. This could be a running back class where we look back next year and say, man, what we should have done is we should have moved like the 4th round up to like the 3rd round because of how talented this class was. That's the one thing that I'll say. And the other thing is like, it's round 10. Like Bashal Tune's a guy, if he's RB3 on this depth chart week 1, hey, easy fodder. And I can go and pick up, a guy that's going to be on my team for the rest of the season for the first couple of weeks. I don't like out of all the guys here, I don't really give a shit.
This is the Tyler. Well, not just you, because I feel like a lot of people are in on this guy on Bashal Tune. This is Kamani Vidal of last year. I'm just gonna put it.
No, he's way better.
This is Kamani Vidal of last year.
Kamani Vidal was going in like the 13th. Like Bashal Tune's 10 times better. Come on. The problem with last year's draft class is it was ass. This year's draft class, the running back class is very, very good.
We're gonna see, bro.
It's very good.
I think this is more of like a Kendrick Miller pick.
That too.
Yeah, than a Kamani Vidal.
No, I would say you know who it is? You know who Bashal Tune is? He's a Tyrone Tracy from last year. A running back who's going to a fluid situation. We're not quite sure who the guy is. And this is where he's being drafted, just like Tyrone Tracy was drafted in the 10th, 11th, 12th round of drafts last year. That's who Tootin is this year. We're not sure how this situation is going to work out. Who's the true number 1? He could be the number 1. I would not be shocked by that. Or it could be RB3. I wouldn't be shocked by that either. But like, there's opportunity here on an offense. The last point I'll make is last year, Liam Cohen, Rashad White, and Bucky Irving were top 20 running backs in fantasy football. Both of them inside the top 10 in receptions at the running back position. So there's opportunity in this offense for somebody. I'm not saying it's going to be Tootin. I don't mind taking a shot on them.
Gabe, Tony, what's good, y'all? Asking if there's going to be another draft. I think we got time for another one. We got time for another draft. Give us a second, but we're going to go over this one in just a minute. I think when you look at Tootin, here's how I draft players. Just being honest. There's no chance in hell I think Bashal Tootin is on a roster by week 2. Put it that way. I don't think if you draft him, there's a 0% chance he'll be on your roster in week 2. So why draft him?
I mean, why not? Like, I don't know.
Because he ain't gonna be on your roster week 2. I just know that for a fact. Like, you look at the players that we picked up off of waivers last year, he's not going to be on rosters.
I don't know. I don't think that. I don't think that you're giving him as much credit as like this is an entirely new regime.
Yeah,
that has.
Don't give a shit about Travis.
The last 2 regimes didn't care about Travis.
Yeah,
and we didn't care about that motherfucker either.
You hated Travis Etienne last year. You kidding me?
Going in the 2nd round.
Oh, okay, but he's still the same guy. Man,
in the 8th round,
really
exactly. That's my point. I guess that's my point. Is like the value you get him in the 2nd round or 8th round. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I think it's worth it. You know who I would have. Jordan Mason, I think, is a better.
I like Jordan Mason too. I do like him. At this point, oh man, do I go with him? I really like Dak, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick right there.
Yeah,
like Dak is just so. I was deciding between him and Drake May, but like we know how good Dak can be, and
that's top 5. Dak is top 5 when he's on. He's top 5.
Good, and I love drafting Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, but it's like, man, I can wait till like round 10, 12, 13 to get Dak. Even Drake May, like, oh man, there's just so many good quarterbacks that I don't mind waiting on. Even like Justin Fields is still there, which
I
take Justin Fields for
Sleeper.
That's why I was mad when I saw who was still left when I took Kyler. I'm like, why did I take Kyler Murray? That's the pick I regret the most. I wish I would took somebody else.
There's just a lot of good quarterbacks that I don't mind having as my QB1.
I should have took Ramondre
there. Caleb was probably gonna
even Caleb's still on the board. I don't mind having Caleb Williams either. I don't mind a lot of these guys that are still on the board right now.
Yeah.
A couple questions that came in about Jahan has Travis Hunter not been listed on sleeper. He's there. HD Vibes took him in the 5th round. So HD Vibes, he's right here. So there's Travis Hunter on there. We got to get that Jahan versus Tyler Health league going again, going for that 2P. We're going to get that league going again. We'll get it going again. Oh, boy,
I'm going to get auto-drafted. No. Yes, I got it in.
You got it in? All right, cool.
Yeah. Right. I don't know who to take. I'll take Garendo.
I don't mind Garendo, especially because if McCaffrey go down, shit.
Yeah, he's next up. I wanted to take Jaden Blue and Kyle Williams. Both the guys I was looking at were both just taken. I should have just waited. I was contemplating on waiting on Dak because those guys already had a quarterback, and I was like, they probably won't take a second quarterback. I should have went with like Jaden Blue or Kyle Williams there, just get one of them, and then I was okay with getting like Fields or Drake May, but it's whatever. First mock draft,
First mock draft, and
big brain thinking.
I would say this, like this is, if you're gonna start taking your sleepers and guys, there's a lot of like still really good talent that goes down here that goes after like the just complete flyers. So I would say like just be down here. There's more talent, and I think as the offseason goes on, these rankings are going to be adjusted. There's some players down here that like should not be on.
Yeah, just so much, bro. So much.
Like there's a lot of players down here.
I gotta think back. No left for back.
Nah, I mean, Jack Bash, go ahead. That's all you. The third target and the third in line for targets, like on the Raiders. Go ahead, bro.
I thought he was looking kind of good. I mean,
Pause.
The one problem I have is I did this with the running back class last year. Like I was taking a lot of those guys, but it was one of the everyone was saying it. One of the worst running back classes we've seen in a long time. This was one of the worst wide receiver classes we've seen in a long time. So it's like your wide receiver 5, like Jack Besh. Emergency tornado warning. Oh no.
You got a tornado coming over there. Yeah. They trying to wipe PA out the map, huh?
God damn, man.
I'm in the basement already, so it'll be happening. I'll still be drafting. But yeah, it's like Besh would be what in last year's class? Wide receiver 10, 12?
Wide receiver, we're not talking about him.
I don't mind them at this point though. Like these are dart throws, so I don't mind it. Like it could happen. But I doubt it.
Jahan, who's your Bateman of this year? My Rashad Bateman of this year. Let me think on that. I don't really have a Bateman of this year yet. What do you mean, like just guy I could get like at the end of the draft? I think Hollywood Brown. I took Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to be like a really good value. It's just kind of like a bench guy. He just doesn't provide a whole lot of touchdown upside, which I normally like. And Rashee Rice is obviously the one there. So I don't know. Let me think about who my Bateman of this year. It might be Bateman again. Shit, like he goes super late. So I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not sure who my Bateman is this year. I don't really have one as yet. A guy that I didn't take, and I'm not going to take in this draft that Ty just took right here. Isaiah Likely. I think Isaiah Likely is going to end up being a top 10 to 12-ish tight end. And I think he's probably going to be one of the steals of the draft because I think Isaiah Likely is going to take over that starting spot after what Mark Andrews did last year in that playoffs. And I think just in general, I see a world where Isaiah Likely takes over as his team's lead tight end.
I like Freiermuth. I'm a Steelers fan though. But
yeah.
Last year, I mean, he was tight end 13 in points per game last year. I want to say he finished with like 0.2 points per game less than Sam Laporta last year. So like, and he should be the number 2 target for Aaron Rodgers. Like, there's volume there for him, and he's good in the red zone. Like that's all you want. Another one I would even say is like Hunter Henry. If we do think Drake May takes a step. Like Hunter Henry's a solid tight end, and you
He
got
is
Diggs.
who he is though. Like we know what the hell he is. Like 708 touchdowns, like every single year.
Which is like that's okay for a tight end.
Solid.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Actually, you know who it is? Kyle Pitts, bro. Kyle Pitts.
Well, I like Kyle Pitts. I was thinking about taking Kyle Pitts. I hope he gets traded though, honestly.
Where
do you want him to go? Because they were talking about Steelers, which I don't understand. 2 tight end set, but where do you want him to go?
My God.
That'd be ugly if he went to the Steelers, in my opinion.
I want him to go to a team that's actually going to use him the right way. I don't know.
Miami. If he goes to Miami, that'll be crazy.
Well, if Miami moves on from Jonnu,
yeah.
I'm just going to go with Trey Benson here.
I don't mind that. And actually, I remembered who my Bateman is for this year. I do have a Bateman this year.
Who's that?
Johnston.
Who?
Quinn Johnston.
Not Quinn Johnston. Everybody loves Trey Harris. I'm not as in on Trey Harris as everybody else.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So my pick. So how I think of this is I'm thinking, okay, who has like opportunity, but like maybe everything didn't come together last year, right? And I looked at like, all right, potential touchdowns left on the field and just like where I think there's some value. Obviously, with like the starting quarterback situation in Indy, we don't really know what's going on if it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. But one thing I know is if Anthony Richardson does get the starting gig, he was literally inches away from having like probably 6-7 touchdowns to A.D. Mitchell. And A.D. Mitchell as a second-round pick last year, I don't think he got to really show who he was. Obviously, the team still has Alec Pierce. You still have Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. But you bring in a Tyler Warren now, somebody that can like kind of eat up the middle of the field. It would not shock me to see A.D. Mitchell creep up into that like 800 to 1,000 yard range with like 6-7 touchdowns. It would not shock me at all. That's my Bateman of this year.
Oh man,
A.D. Mitchell.
Okay.
A.D. Mitchell.
I don't know. It's terrible.
I'm gonna take him right now. He said it's terrible. What else is new? Let me set up another one real quick.
I'm surprised you haven't taken Keenan Allen yet.
Yeah, I could have swore you were about to take Keenan Allen. You know, and I was like, you know, it's either between. I think one of those guys are going to get picked up by somebody, whether it's Keenan Allen or whether it's Amari Cooper. Like, I can see Amari Cooper going to like Seattle or something, right? And being impactful. I mean, he's not 30 yet, and he's still talented. I don't know why he's not Cooper.
Oh, I thought he was.
Nah, Cooper's
he's still ain't hit 30. Goddamn.
What is he? He's like, he's 30. He just hit 30. He just hit 30. I know. I found a youth over here.
I'm gonna try this 12 spot out. I don't like it, but I'm gonna try this 12 spot out.
Oh, drop it in the chat.
I dropped it in the private chat for y'all. I dropped it in the private chat. Y'all get a spot.
I'll go with 3.
Let me know when you win, P.
That's fine.
So normally what we do is we go through and rate the teams, but that shit takes too long. So unfortunately, this is the very first mock draft. Anybody, just let me ask this. Instead of rating the teams, Tyler, outside of your team, and then P outside of your team, and I'll go last, name one team that did really well to you and one team that was terrible to you.
One team that was good, in my opinion.
Yep.
I'll start with a bad one first.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like the love for MVP team whatsoever. And the problem is just because it's a 3 wide receiver league. Like if this was a 2 wide receiver league, like that's a big difference. When your wide receiver 3 is Cooper Kupp and then your wide receiver 4 is Marvin Mims, like wide receivers are always way more difficult to find on the waiver wire, especially after like the first couple of weeks. You're just constantly like recycling Alec Pierce, hoping to chase that upside week again later in the season. Like that's what you're doing. So in 3 wide receiver leagues, like you got to go with at least a stud wide receiver early, and then you can kind of build out. So that's one. And then a team that I like, I like this. Who TH22? That one.
So you like that team?
I'll say this. I don't mind it. Just I don't like the Joe Burrow pick. I understand why he did it though, just because of Jamar Chase, and I don't really like the Travis Kelce. But I like I like the start of it, And then also the wide receivers, like I think Jaden Reed maybe getting a little bit too much hate. Jawan Jennings, had the good season last year. Rashid Shaheed was breaking out last year and then got hurt. So there's potential here. I like how it started, and then you just have that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack, which can feed families all season long.
Good job, Ty. That's young Ty again, bro. He ready.
He's 22. Okay,
he ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that Jamar Chase at the number 3 pick is carrying.
A 3 wide receiver league too.
Hell yeah, it can't be mad. I don't like the GOAT BC's team. I don't like that team. I mean, I think you could have did a lot better with the wide receivers. You only drafted 3, so that means you got to start James Conner and Najee Harris. I don't know. It's just not. It's just
Mayfield, Jonnu Smith. That feels like the ultimate overreaction type of team to guys who just are coming off these massive seasons to now they're being way pushed up the board. Do we really think they're going to?
I feel like this team felt the pressure of being in one of the end caps this year, and I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure on your teams this year because there's a ton of talent. And you got to reach for players that you want at certain spots. Like he reached on Marv and probably felt like, shit, Marv's not coming back to me. So, and you have to be able to feel out like, can a player come back to me? Or like, can I get a similar caliber player at the end caps? And I think 1 and 12 spot are both going to be very difficult positions this year.
I'll show you how to draft from the 1 spot.
We're going to see. Now, I think I love the top end. I hate the back end of the draft.
I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go middle of the draft.
All right. We got, and then I'll go. You did both of yours, P?
A team I like. Jeez. I like HD Vibes team. Nico, I think Devontae. I think Brandon Ayuk coming back. I like the Harris pick way back there in the 10th round. I think he's gonna, as a rookie, he could shine. I know Harbaugh kind of relies on his higher end draft picks. So I like that. Jaden Daniels kind of solidifying everything. You got some Achane is dope. I'm a big Achane guy. And Tony Pollard, I think, is going to be a little sleeper. I think he's a little undervalued because they got some quarterback play there now. I think he was like 14 points per game, 13, 14 points per game last year. And you just got to probably up that by maybe a few points. I think that this is a sleeper team. You got, and you ended with Chubb too. I'm not mad at it.
I like what Johnny Sports Talk did, but I just don't like some of the players. Like I like the setup here. If you would have this like Travis Etienne here, I think I would have liked this better, or like maybe a different quarterback later. But I really like the start.
The start was good,
start right here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just this second half of the draft got a little out of whack for me, like Jadon Blue and Blake Corum. But like I can still see that one panning out. A team I didn't like was the Pops team. You get Saquon, which is fine, but then like I feel like every other pick, Khalil Shakir went kind of early for me, or like I don't think JSN should be your number 1. So there's picks I really like in here, and there's some others I'm just like So I felt like this team was good, and probably like every other pick I think I liked it. So I don't know, it wasn't too bad for me.
But what's the hate on Jaden Blue?
There's no hate. It's just with that team he had, he could have. I feel like that could have been like championship contender with that start he had. And I think Jaden Blue has to earn the starting rep over 2 more established backs. Like I don't think Miles Sanders is great, nor do I think he has a lock on the number 2 spot. But I do think Javonte at least is going to see it. I think Jaden Blue, you're going to pick up Jaden Blue this year, not hold on to him on your roster.
Maybe.
I could feel that. I think Jaden Blue. I like Jaden Blue. I like his upside. I think that the 2 backs.
There's potential opportunity.
You can say that about 90% of the league, though. It's like somebody has to get hurt in order for that to happen,
Huh? Javonte Williams has been complete ass. Miles Sanders is ass. You know that.
That's facts.
There's no running back room that's probably worse than that one.
Oh, damn. This is super flex too?
Super flex. This is super flex. We're doing a super flex, only one regular flex.
With the top 3.
No, damn, gang.
I said I should have been at 3. Oh, well,
Cooper Kupp is the sleeper if he stays healthy. I agree with that. I agree. He's going outside the top 35 receivers. I think he's free where he's at.
Who's that?
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, he's a complete waste of a pick.
Oh, really? Is that
why you say that? Why you say that?
Wow, that's crazy.
Washed, going to a new team with the worst quarterback, worst situation. No thanks.
I mean,
hasn't played a full season. I think 3 or 4 years now. 32 years old. Showed massive signs of slowing down last year.
5'9".
a better slot receiver already there.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I just think Cooper Kupp, he's not obviously what he was, but
I think you're drafting him just because he's Cooper Kupp.
I think you're drafting because he's in the 8th round. Like, you're not having to take Cooper Kupp as a top 3 round pick. You're getting him as an 8th round. He's your wide receiver.
There's way better 8th round picks than him.
What's wrong with him? Like, outside of what's wrong with him, if he outside of the injury risk, which I think that's the only thing you said that was actually
there's
like logical.
So much wrong with him. Like, once again, he's going from Matthew Stafford to Sam Darnold. He's going from the one of the most stable teams right now in the Rams that knows how to use their players to a team that's Seattle and complete unknown.
You think? Let me ask you something really quick. You think he's more of a product of like a Sean McVay? Like a Sean McVay really made him who he was, and now in Seattle he may be a little like
exposed. Somewhat.
Yeah.
I think that he was a good wide receiver, no doubt about it. And I think that if he would have went somewhere else, I still think he would have been a good wide receiver. Would he have been Triple Crown winner? No, I don't think he would have done that. But I think he's a good real life wide receiver. But the problem is he's 32 years old. Once again, hasn't played a full season. Downgrading situations.
But he was still good last year. He was still good. The thing is, he was still productive last year. You guys can say it all you want, but like, he was outshined by Puka Nacua, but he was still a good receiver last year.
Off a cliff. Go look at his stats.
So if what do you mean? Go look at his stats. He played well. He played through.
Jay, we had a bet. Jay, we had that bet. Remember? We had that bet. We didn't have the bet now. Oh, now we don't have the bet. Come on,
go pick Plies here. Go Plies in effect. Plies in effect.
It wasn't a financial bet, but we had okay, who's gonna finish better? Who's the number one? Who's the true number one?
We had a discussion about
who was it? Did you say
Puka was the one? Puka was the one.
Oh,
yeah,
Puka was the one.
He's a stud.
I think it would, if we would have, if we would have put money on it, I'd have been a wealthy man.
Hey, real talk though. Shout out to the chat for rocking with us. Make sure y'all show some love to the video, man. And we're gonna be here. We're gonna do more of these conversations too. I know last year and previous years we've done a lot of like one-offs, like me and somebody else. But this channel, you may see all three of us. You may not even see my face sometimes. We're gonna get this thing rocking though. So a lot more variation to the page, man. Y'all make sure to show the page some love and drop a sub if you're here for the first time, man.
Yeah, what's crazy is it's super flex and first quarterback went at the 5 pick.
You have to take a quarterback. It's super flex. They try to get you, man.
Yeah, I mean,
He's one of the league guys, though.
Yeah, you can get an elite guy. I'm not mad at it.
Josh Allen at pick 5. Hell yeah, sign me up.
It's kind of a win. It's kind of a win.
But I agree. Like once you get to like the not so
this is ugly, bro. I don't like this.
Jamar Chase, though, I'm not mad at that.
I don't like this at all. I don't like this spot. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like this spot.
Jalen.
Yeah, I don't like this spot. I'm not a fan of these back end first round picks, bro.
Yeah, I'm just figuring this out, like what the strategy is going to be. Where we're like, who's going where.
Mm-hmm.
This is but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's good. Somebody was asking about mock drafts, and if you guys want to run the comments back up, I'll put the comments back up. But somebody asked, like in the Discord, and if you're not part of Discord, links in the bio. Why are you guys mocking? It's June. And it's like sometimes you got to get a feel for like where players are going, man, because if you don't mock before your drafts, you go in and you miss out on certain players, or maybe you'll take a player really high. The more mock drafts you do, the better off you're going to be. And mock drafts are free, bro. It's free entertainment, man.
Yeah, man. You got 30 minutes. Hop in a mock, man, and sharpen your game up.
Yeah. And I always think it's nice to know, like, maybe this is too much information, but like I can, once it's like my draft, my real drafts, I know like where a specific player is going in the draft. So I can name like James Conner. He's going around like pick 50, 58 to 68. So if I want a running back, like I know that I can get James Conner there. So or the wide receivers dry up. Like the biggest thing is knowing the tiers, like where tier drops. You know that from mocks. So you just know, all right, if I don't take a wide receiver here, it's probably going to be a massive fall off the next time I'm up. So I need to just go with a wide receiver. And then there's still some decent running backs that I could take, my next pick. So go wide receiver. That's the biggest thing for mocks. It's just knowing the tier breaks and everything.
Yeah, it keeps you from panicking. Like, it keeps you from panicking. Like, oh, is there a player left here? It's like you kind of know, okay, I got these 3 players that I like that are similar. So I'm not really tripping if I don't get the player I like. Or I like this running back and this tight end here. One of those guys should fall to me here. You kind of know the more mocks you do, what type of players, especially if you go in and you do a 12-team, a 10-team, you do different positions. You start from different spots.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell and tell what your team will look like afterwards. So.
And when and where to reach too. That's a big plus.
Yeah. Jahan, you're gonna struggle if I draft next to you here. I hate that. Tyler, let me ask you this, because you come to my draft sometimes. I've been at your drafts. P, I think you've been all over the place. But it's like when you draft with your audience, it's literally the hardest thing to fucking do, bro.
Yeah.
They take all your players, bro.
Yeah. No, it is.
I feel like it's intentional.
Difficult. And it's even like one guy, I loved him last year, Chase Brown. And I would always have to draft him like a round earlier because everybody would be taking him, like all my followers. The same with like, I don't know, just other guys later in the draft. So it's like you don't even get your guys, so you're constantly having to take other guys that you may not even really like just because your guys are always being drafted earlier.
I can't tell you how many times Bijan got sniped from me last year.
Yeah.
It's funny because like when I'm hopping in your draft, it's like these are a bunch of Jahan teams, and then and your team is like the least Jahan team sometimes. I'm like, okay, all right.
It'd be like that. How important do y'all think? Because when I mock draft specifically, a lot of times, people are like, oh, my team looks so good right now. They'll be like 4 or 5 picks in, and they'll be like, oh man, my team is unbeatable. And I feel like everybody's team probably feels like that. To me, you win in the middle of your draft. Like I feel like the start of your draft is so overrated, and drafting in general is very overrated. There's a lot of people that think, oh man, I won my draft, I'm going to win my league, or I had the best drafter. What was the draft rating that Yahoo gave me, right? Like everybody wants to see, did I get an A+ for my draft? And half the time those teams don't even make the damn playoffs. So my biggest thing is like, if you draft, just know that the legwork is done throughout the year. Like you got to be able to make trades, make the right pickups, right waiver decisions. But how important do you guys feel like the draft is for your success?
I think it's important. I think like Matthew Berry always said it the best, that you can't win your league on draft night, but you can certainly lose it. A guy that I loved last year, you took Breece Hall with a top 3 pick in fantasy. You probably didn't do very well last year, honestly. Yeah. I think there's certain guys that you draft that can be early on that just are staples. They don't have to worry about anything else. Yes, the middle part and even the end part of the draft is important, but I definitely think it's important, but it's not the end all be all. But I definitely think that you can draft a dud team where even if you're picking up some good players, like your team is maybe even toast. But
I think the draft obviously is important, but I think if you're drafting a team to like, this is my team and all of these are my guys, and I have no intention on trading them, I think that's where
even making pickups. Like you see people like that throughout the year, and maybe they just don't care as much. They're not as invested. They're not, tryhards. They're not making moves. But like if you're drafting your team and you don't make any moves, even just picking up guys and dropping them, then that's a problem too.
Yeah, I feel like the draft, it gives you good building blocks. And if you hit on a certain player that gives you like maybe you found value on, I think that's where you could find the win. Where I think that people often tie their draft results is like, did I hit on every player? Or like, did I catch the young rookie who became the top 10 pick? And I think that's where people kind of like lose their league, is because they feel like, oh, by week 6, my draft doesn't look the same, so I'm out of this league, or I don't really care about this anymore. And you guys care too much about fantasy.
there's moments in the league that you're just absolutely like week 6 rolls around and you're looking at your squad and you're like, my God, I might come in last place. And then in like 3 or 4 weeks, it's like, holy shit. Hey, Chase Brown is the lead back now. He's an RB1 in fantasy football. This happened. Chuba Hubbard now isn't going to lose his job to Jonathan Brooks because Jonathan Brooks is done. Like, my team is fucking good now. Like, especially in fantasy football, like it just changes so drastically all the time that even if it looks like you're down and out, you're not truly down and out. There's still plenty of hope.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, when I'm going into a draft and I'm looking at a draft, I think I may be going into draft a little bit more like, I want to build my team. I want to have certain structure to my team. Like I would like a lot of, top tier guys in my wide receivers. I want, I could live with some of the other, mid-tier running backs and whatnot, the way you structure it. But I'm also like, if I get X amount of people in one tier in a position, then I feel more comfortable shipping them off. Like in a setup like this, like I wouldn't mind trading Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what I can get back. Obviously, you got to gauge how your league is and whatnot. And if somebody's going to overpay for something, especially after like a blow-up week. But I think that's more how people can control the actual league than that of like the draft, right? So I'll put stock in the draft, but fluidity I think is where you win, and not being afraid to send somebody off for a bag.
Yeah, you can't be afraid. Can't be afraid to move pieces, man. One of the key things I hear a lot in super flex leagues, right, is you have to draft a quarterback in the top 3 rounds. And I noticed we got a few comments from this guy, Rain. He said, damn, teams 9, 10, 7 looking good to start. Obviously, it took a quarterback to begin. Mahomes is slow in a super flex. Why? Team 5 isn't insane. Why? Because they drafted 2 quarterbacks. And it's like, I think you also need to realize that just because somebody says something on Twitter in an article does not make it fact. Just because you draft a certain way in best ball doesn't make it fact. Just because somebody says something about teams that typically win in Superflex doesn't make it fact. And I think that there's also a lot of quarterbacks specifically this season. There are a lot of really good quarterbacks that are going outside of even like the top 20. Like you can get Matt Stafford outside of the top 20 quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers outside. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is great. Aaron Rodgers outside. Bryce Young. Like there's going to be a lot of startable caliber quarterbacks that go outside of the top 20. I don't know that you need to draft 2 quarterbacks in Superflex or take one. I took one first round, but I don't think you even need that. Why do you think that is? Is that everybody thinks you have to get a quarterback because they're the highest scorers in Superflex?
I would agree with it to an extent. Like, I think that there's certain points when quarterbacks, like, I want at least one quarterback that I think that can be a quarterback 1. But like the fact that he said Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, obviously, like, that's your 1 and 2 quarterback in real life. But like, let's be honest, Patrick Mahomes has not been Patrick Mahomes in fantasy football over the past couple of years now. Like, what's the difference between Patrick Mahomes and like Jared Goff? To be honest with you, like for fantasy football purposes, there's not a big difference in like those kind of guys to say like, oh my God, him in the third round.
Yeah, I think when you start looking at it as like, okay, you got 3 or 4 quarterbacks who on an average point per game basis are just insanely above everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you got like quarterback, we could say quarterback 6 to quarterback like 15 who have a difference of points on a points per game basis, a difference of like 1.5, 2 points on a points per game basis. So it takes away a lot of like for me, if you look at it that way, it's like, bro, like I can wait on quarterbacks and I can be just as good as, 5 other teams when we're talking about just on a position basis of quarterbacks. And I'll stack my roster with wide receivers that are going to overly perform everybody else's team.
You ain't got to give him the stiff arm, dog. I seen you was like, you hit him with that Heisman post. You was like, get up out of here, man.
He kind of thick. Look at this kid, man. You got to push him off, man.
What's happening?
He's only 3 years old. You believe that? I'm giving this kid creatine already. No, just joking. Go. Okay. All right, I'll be over there.
But no, it comes down to like numbers, right? And so I think like when you understand that there's a mean and there's certain outliers, I think you have to be able to take outliers. But what happens oftentimes, and we see this with the tight end position a lot, outliers often bring up the mean of all the rest of the position. Meaning that the guys that score for quarterback, the ones that score 350 points to 300 points, now everybody feels like, oh shit, I have to draft a quarterback because those guys, when everybody else is closer to that 250 to 300 range, like you're not drafting an outlier. Why are you taking him early? So I think with Superflex, like there's a big point differential between, some of the top end guys. And I feel like that's not I feel like people just draft quarterbacks and they say you're supposed to draft quarterbacks and it annoys the shit out of me.
Fuck, man. You reach all the way for Kenneth Walker. All right, I see you.
Why Kenneth Walker? I don't like Kenneth Walker as much this year, man.
No, I mean, considering the other running backs that are there, I was pegging Kenneth Walker to be one of mine. But yeah, man, going against the grain more often than not is going to put you in a better position. If you're drafting with the league, if you're drafting how everybody else is drafting, you guys are competing against them. Whereas if you're zigging when they zag, oftentimes you're going to get significantly higher tiers of players in different positions when everybody's like, oh, there's a run on wide receivers. There's a run on quarterbacks. All right, well, I'm going to get the top, the top of the picks in the other positions. If I'm making sense.
No, zig when they zag. It's the key to success in a lot of things in life.
Shit, you feel me?
Shout out to the homie Cade. What's good, Cade? How you living, bro? Hopefully all is well with you, man. Got to get you in the draft soon, bro.
He said, Mr. Henry.
It's Cade. Salute to you, my dog.
Yeah, Cade's cool.
Man, how y'all feeling about your start so far?
I like it. I like my start at wide receiver. I think you reunite the Ohio State quarterback wide receiver combo right there with Garrett Wilson. I think Rashee Rice for a bounce back would be cool. I like his consistency, especially when you're picking at the end in the one spot. It's easy to go like back-to-back quarterbacks right here and just be like, okay, well, the top three picks, it don't matter because I got them at 4 and 5. So I think it's a cool strategy.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think one of the things too I notice is like if I go, so like we drafted like this, and for Rain again, I don't know if Rain if you're still here in the chat, but we drafted, right? So a lot of these guys are drafting similarly. Like we've been talking about this over the years, so they draft similarly to like we all think the same way, right? The audience I have. But if we go to Tyler's drafts, Tyler, how many quarterbacks do you think would have been gone by now?
Quite a bit.
We have 7 quarterbacks off the board right now.
The whole second round was no quarterback. That's crazy.
Crazy. But it's like you can be a disruptor now.
Yeah, you're like your solid quarterback twos would definitely probably be gone.
Yeah. Like Bo Nix would have been gone 2 rounds ago.
I'll take these.
Oh, he's elite.
Bo Nix.
He's not elite. Justin Herbert.
Hey, don't sleep on Justin Herbert, bro. The second half of last year, he was cooking.
He's elite.
Everybody's cooking. We can always.
You can't throw a blanket statement out like that, like it's not true, though. You know what I mean? They started a crazy running team, the most running team. And then after like week 6, week 7, somewhere around there, they were like one of the most pass-heavy teams with no wide receivers.
When their running backs got hurt, are you talking about? Then they go and invest in a running back in the offseason, 1,000-yard running back, and then draft one in the first round? Is that what you're talking about?
Can you stop bringing up Najee? Please stop bringing up Najee.
1,000-yard back. Just ass.
He is fucking terrible, bro. He was terrible. But I mean, there were injuries there at running back, yeah, but the efficiency of which he was doing it with no wide receivers, it's something to be documented.
Yeah, we're gonna get a J-Hen fantasy league this year. We need to get a big money league going though, y'all. With you guys. You know what I'm saying? We need a big money league.
What's big? What do you consider big?
5.
5 is cool. 5 is a strong number.
Five's worth it though. Tyler said he's trying to do a 5,000, not 500.
Tyler, you got 5 racks like that? Just to throw in a league?
Not in a fantasy league. Although I'd probably win it, so I guess.
Oh God, I know that's one league you ain't winning. Shit, on some real shit though, we do gotta get a money league going now.
Yeah, baby.
Travis Hunt. Oh, you got both wide receivers from the same team. I ain't mad at it.
Oh, we're gonna go Trevor Lawrence coming next pick.
Hey, you want to know what's funny? My very first league I've ever played in, I got so much hate for having both Fitzgerald and Bolden.
That's because you're a Cardinal fan now.
Nah. Beg. You see the helmet? That's autographed too. You know what I'm saying? That's autographed by Jerry Rice, man. Hey. Yeah. You helped out in picking that, Jay. You remember that?
I know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you know what's crazier is I met Jerry Rice on TV one time.
I seen that.
Remember that? The Saints game was Monday Night Football. Actually, you can run that. You can actually run it. It's right before the start of the third quarter. If you watch the highlight, I should pull that clip up on a show one day. But it's me dapping up Jerry Rice, holding up this big ass sign right before the start of the third quarter after his Hall of Fame ceremony on Monday Night TV or Monday Night Football.
You was reaching over hella people to dap him up.
Yeah, I smacked somebody in the face. I was like, "What up? Well, what up, Jerry? What up?"
I ain't mad at it.
Sometimes you got to, bro. You gotta make the moves, man. Damn, I'm glad I got at least one running back. Shit.
Oh, come on now. Don't say that out loud, G.
Damn. God damn. I got one more here. Damn.
Well, there's still some work out here. There's some work out here.
Yeah, I'll let you sift through that. What are y'all working? Oh, let me answer this one real quick. Actually, I'm gonna pick and then answer it. What are you guys working on right now? Anything you guys got going on in the summer right now?
Yeah, I'm just building up my real estate business.
Okay, bet.
I gotta do what I gotta do, man. Networking, mingling. I'm got to get it out here in the San Diego market.
Just doing fantasy stuff. That's all I'm doing right now.
Y'all are boring, man.
You just need to focus or something?
No, I just need to focus real quick. I need, you know what I'm saying? I thought y'all had something for me, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are boring though. Y'all are boring. I thought y'all were entertainers, bro.
Nah, I'm a moneymaker, man.
I ain't mad at that. Listen, Kane came in and said, "What's the training camp, by the way? How does it work?" So, for those who don't know, this year will be the inaugural fantasy football training camp. And what this is basically like a draft guide on steroids, a conference, virtual conference for anybody to attend. If you get tickets, fftcamp.com is where you can get your tickets. But we're going to have panels full of fantasy insight. It won't just be rankings or tiers. All of us are going to be on a panel at some point talking, debating, going over higher level stuff than just like who's my sleeper and who's this real fantasy football theory and going over it. We'll have some NFL players already confirmed that will be in attendance. There's a couple that we could get if I'm in talks right now. If it happens, it's going to be crazy. But we got NFL analysts there as well. Some freebies entering into $1,000 free entry into $1,000 Survivor League. We're giving out $50 for Pros with Joes, which is like to play alongside a pro. We got a ton of stuff on the way, but basically it's going to be a 2-day conference, virtual. And if you guys want to get in, let me know. I'll give you guys freebie for now until about the 30th of June. And then after that, it'll have to be either a discount or maybe nothing. So that's what it is. Training camp, be a part of it. Be a part of it. Tyler, what's your thoughts on Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter. I like Travis Hunter a lot. I think that Travis Hunter, very good college wide receiver. It wasn't even a full-time guy walking into a situation. I know a lot of people like Brian Thomas. I like Brian Thomas, but I think that there's definitely room for both of these guys to succeed because they got rid of like literally everybody else. So it's just these two. So when people say like Travis Hunter, is second fiddle to Brian Thomas, like I don't care about that. They both can eat. I'm fine with that. So I like Travis Hunter a lot for where he's currently going. I think in the last draft it was like 6th round ish.
Yeah, it was like 5th, 6th round.
I'm okay with that, especially because you also consider like the resources that has been invested into Travis Hunter already are substantial. So, and this team has made it clear that he's wide receiver first, not corner. So I'm all in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I like Travis Hunter. Maybe not as much as you guys. I think Tet it would be a better wide receiver. I just think that Travis Hunter, the reason why he was drafted so high is because more so, not necessarily off his talent as wide receiver, but the fact that he can play 2 positions. Because I don't think he's the best wide receiver coming out of this draft. And I don't think he's the best corner coming out of this draft.
He's got big play written all over him. I think he's going to be more valuable in real life and more superstar-ish in real life than he will be for fantasy. I think he'll have some mega weeks, but I kind of feel like he's more of a shiny toy than he is like a useful fantasy asset on a consistent basis. I see him having some real big splash weeks, like a 25-point week here and there, but like I could see some duds out of like 0 catch days out of Travis Hunter, which then it becomes when do I start him? And I don't know if
I don't agree. You say he's not the best. He just won the Bolitnikoff. He's the best wide receiver in this class, easily.
I think he's a great receiver, but
I think. I mean, I don't know. I think Tet's a better wide receiver. Just watching him. I don't know. I mean,
Travis Hunter had better stats than Tet this year, and he playing both sides. Like I think, me personally, I think Travis Hunter can be a superstar wide receiver. Like I think the potential is insane because he wasn't even a full-time wide receiver. And like the one thing that I'll say about Travis Hunter too is just like the athleticism is on par with any other wide receiver in the NFL, like your elite guys. Like the way that he can go from 0 to his full speed is insane. Like the athleticism is insane.
I called him Rookie Odell. Like that, he reminds me of Odell.
Like I think that's what he is. Like I think that's what he can be. Like I think that there's just insane upside. I will say, Ted McMillan might be better suited just because like there's a clear path for him to be the number 1 target on his team. Obviously, Travis Hunter, you got to compete with Brian Thomas, who was phenomenal last year too. But I like both of them, and for where they're both currently going, like I'm all in on those 2 guys. Absolutely, your wide receiver. Typically, every single year, you're seeing a wide receiver 1, a rookie wide receiver 1, or finishes a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. Like it's these 2 guys.
Yeah,
is one of them is going to be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy, so I don't mind either one.
More than likely. Way more wide receivers than running backs, I think, this year, Jahan. Yes, I think running backs dry up very quickly. Yeah. And I think if you don't have, by the time, not in super flex, but in regular drafts, if you don't have 4 running backs by the time round 8 comes around, I think it's ugly after that. Like by 8 or 9, I would say round 8 or round 9.
I don't know.
I think it's ugly. I know you like all the rookies, so.
Well, it's not even the rookies. Like Travis Etienne goes late.
That's probably the line for me is like where Travis Etienne goes. Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, that right there outside the top 32 backs is.
But like that's late. Like you say Ramondre, and I honestly don't even mind Ramondre. But like Tony Pollard goes later. Like he's going 7th round ish.
Why is Brian Robinson going so late?
Brian Robinson is going late. You can even argue like. You say you don't like Jane Blue, that's fine. Javonte Williams goes late. He's an RB1 for the Cowboys. So, like, I think that there's the only pushback that I'll say is like the wide receiver talent, like your very, very good wide receiver talent dries up really quickly. And we see it every single year with the running back position. There's always these later kind of breakout. You can say the same thing for wide receivers. But once again, I just look at this class. Last year, the wide receiver class coming in was very good, and we saw, I think, 4 guys finish as wide receiver 1s, and maybe it was 3, just 3.
But so Pollard, Etienne, Najee Harris, and Javonte Williams all went before round 10. So round 9, Javonte Williams went at pick 3. All the rest of them were either 8, 7, 6, whatever. So after Javonte Williams, it was like Cam Scatabo, you got Zach Charbonnet, Tajay Spears, Bigsby, Rico Dowdle, Rashad White. Like that's the land. I'm like, I want to have at least a few secure.
Oh, before that land, yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I would say like the same with wide receiver. Like I would rather have a few wide receivers. Like I'm not looking at the mock for what we just drafted, but let me pull it up. Like so, we just drafted. So like, would you rather have Ricky Pearsall or Travis Etienne? Travis Etienne. Yeah, like that's the thing is that I think the wide receivers, like the good wide receivers, kind of dry up a little bit quickly compared to the other guys. So that's just why, like, I think that there's some even like you mentioned last time, Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason's like fine. Like I think that there's some good running backs to target later on in the draft, where the wide receivers are just like yucky. I don't want any part of D-Hop. No, thank you. But
whoa, we don't tolerate D-Hop slander over here.
Listen, he's a legend. Well, no, kind of legend. Yeah, he's one of the best wide receivers in the league for a long time. But
the
end is,
I mean, if D-Hop, I think is a good bench.
Jay Hedden, I think you're muted.
Yeah.
Can't hear you still.
I still can't hear you, but I don't know. I think D-Hop new place right here. Look, I wouldn't put it past him to get like 907.
The only problem that I have is like I can't hear you still. I'll keep talking until I hear you. I'll run the show for you.
Yeah, run the show, Ty.
The only problem that I have with D-Hop though is that I do think he's kind of washed, but also like I really like Zay Flowers, and when you look at Zay Flowers' stats last year, Zay Flowers was honestly not very good for fantasy football. I want to say he was like wide receiver 28, and that's when Lamar Jackson just had 40 passing touchdowns and like 4,000 yards. Like that's the only issue that I see with D-Hop is like if Zay Flowers can't really get it done, like how's D-Hop going to get it done in this offense?
You see, we can hear you now.
I can hear you.
To answer, like I think that they make a move for D-Hop to kind of solve that. I think that they tried this whole for the past X amount of years to try to like rely heavily on two tight end sets, multiple tight ends. They really never had like a big body wide receiver. They had like speed at wide receiver, yeah, but I think there's a reason they brought him in on a discount. For that they need somebody who can like win one-on-one when they need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they didn't really have that. But I think they're gonna rely. I think he's gonna be a better football player than a fantasy
I would agree with that.
Obviously, but like 908, if you can get that at like the back end of your draft.
You know what I'm hearing is you sound like Jayhen last year with Keenan Allen. You don't know when to let go. No. It's time to let D-Hop go. It's over. It's okay.
Huge difference between me and Jayhen. Jayhen doesn't know when to let go. Me, I look at the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I look at the situation. He's on probably one of the better, obviously a better offense.
One of the best, sure.
Yeah, I couldn't say one of the best offenses he's been on because those Texas days are pretty dope.
Yeah,
but but I just think like they got him for a reason. If they're gonna implement him, and he's something that he's a different wrinkle that they haven't really had in that offense as good as it was. And so I'm not gonna go crazy like 1,100 yards, 1,000 yards, 900 and a solid amount of touchdowns. I think it's worthy of a draft spot. What do you think his stats are going to be?
Me?
Yeah.
Hold on one sec.
I think D-Hop will be fine. I think they're going to get obviously like Derrick Henry's going to continue to be force fed. I think Zay Flowers has his natural role. I think Rashad Bateman has the same role, but I think D-Hop is more of like
that's the one thing is
we're going to use him in the red zone more so than like he's going to be this vital part of the offense.
Like, Rashad Bateman was good. I thought
he was. Yeah, he was good last year. He was good last year, but like,
and you run the two tight end sets. It's like
Likely's
who's going to be the out? who's going to be the odd man out there when they're going like 12 personnel and there's 2 wide receivers on the field and 2 tight ends? Like, is he even going to be a full-time player at that point? Will he be the guy out there? Is there going to be Bateman? I think he was just brought in as he's an established player. He's a veteran presence. He can be, in those big moments type of guy, but we don't need to rely on him.
But I think maybe you're kind of, I agree with that a little bit more than I want to say I disagree, because I think he is going to be brought in the big moments, but I think his role will be bigger than you're anticipating.
I think he'll be better for real life football.
That too, but that's fantasy worthy. If you're better for real life football, he's probably going to be somewhere around 750 yards and like 6 to 8 touchdowns, because I think that's his biggest impact is the red zone, right? Where teams can load up on Derrick Henry, practically wise. You can't really rely on Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. They're not end zone guys. So you go get DeAndre Hopkins, so you can have a guy on third down who can win. So you have a guy in the red zone who can win outside of Derrick Henry.
But that's going to be extremely difficult to predict when those touchdowns happen for redraft. Like in best ball, that might be a better target because you don't have to rely on that. When are you
taking him though? You're taking DeAndre Hopkins in like round 12, 13,
Shit, give me anybody else. I don't want that old head.
Oh, you're tripping. You're tripping.
Get the hell out of here. Give me
Jadon Blue over him instead.
Give me Jaden Blue instead of that fucking bum.
Whoa!
A little harsh.
I'm just kidding. No, I love D-Hop. D-Hop was the man. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's one of those at the end here, but he was the man for a long time.
Clock is about
the man coming out too. He was right out the gate. He was the man. He was a stud.
Clock has been updated. We're 30-second clock from now on.
Let's get it.
Finish up this draft, man. Yeah, I don't know. I like this draft so far. I think there's some stronger teams right now. I think for sure, like the players I noticed are being disrespected is the same ones who were being disrespected last year. And that's Alvin Kamara and Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, up until he got hurt week 14, was the RB2. And Alvin Kamara, until he was hurt, was a top 5 running back. Like, those guys are both going outside the top 12 running backs is wild again to me.
I think you're saying it, though, when you're explaining it. It's like, this person was good up until. This person was good up until. That's what happens when you got a lot of tread on these older running backs. They could only last so long. Like, yeah, they were good for spurts of the season. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, I would take Joe Mixon now over Alvin Kamara. I just think that Alvin Kamara, they're in a new offense. The team offensively has gotten worse, and they're probably going to be firing their head coach and shit after this year.
Well, I think they'll give them one. I think that they want to be bad, honestly. Like, you should want to be bad to get a quarterback in next year's class.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Both y'all are fair on that. But then what about these other running backs that are being disrespected? When you talk about like Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Kyron, do you think that those guys are being a little disrespected right now?
No, for sure. I think that there's – when I was sitting down and I was trying to do my RB rankings, I think that there's just so many good running backs like inside the top 15 like this year, the top 12, like top 13, that I don't know if I would want to go with another running. Like, the way that I start my drafts this year, it's usually like 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds, and then I just skip out until we get to like the Travis Etienne's, and then start loading up there and just draft the wide receivers. So like for me personally, I just skip out on the Kamara and the Mixon just because I usually go wide receiver in that range, because there's just so many good running backs early on that I'd rather have. Like, the fact that Josh Jacobs goes in like the 3rd round this year, is insane.
That's
like
crazy.
He is a guy who just had 350 total touches on one of the league's best offenses. I want to say he had like 15 touchdowns. Like, Kyron Williams goes in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's wild.
That's insane.
Kyron guy.
There's a lot of value. A lot of value this year.
There's just some really good running backs that I like to target early on. And I don't hate AK as long as it's full point PPR. It's fine. I'd rather have Joe Mixon over him. But there's some. I know you don't like to talk about it, but we kind of talked about it. The Chubb signing is. It could be. I don't want to say significant, but it could.
I mean, it could be. You dropped the effort. It could be significant.
Like, he's a good running back. Yes, we have to see what he looks like coming off the significant injury, and maybe he's not himself. That's 100%. But there could be a chance where he's pretty good, and it hurts him.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's when you talk about like, Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams and whatnot being disrespected, of the players, I mean, like, this is a super flex league, so we can kind of take the quarterbacks out of it. But of the position players, who would you take those guys over in this draft that got drafted ahead of them?
I think Genty's still going high. Like, I'd rather have. I feel like if Ashton Genty had a Kyron Williams or Josh Jacobs season, we'd all be like, "Damn, he had a great season," or even like a Brock Bowers. Like, I think Brock Bowers.
He lived up to where we drafted him at.
I feel like, bro, if you took Ashton Genty and he had like 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, you'd be like, "Damn, he went off this year." Like, so I feel like for him, like, if he had 1,007, would that surprise anybody? No, it wouldn't. That'd still be a really good year for Ashton Genty, like a rookie with 1,000 yards rushing.
So you're saying you would take Kyron over him?
Kyron, Josh Jacobs.
So I look at the running back position in tiers, and I think like there's a clear top three. We talked about it, like a clear top three. That's tier 1. Then I think tier 2 goes honestly to, like, I know you don't like him that much, but Bucky and Breece Hall. Like, there's so many running backs in that tier 2 that Josh Jacobs is in there. I'd rather take Josh Jacobs over Garrett Wilson, in my opinion. Now, like, for 3 wide receiver leagues, that could be a discussion, but rather have him over there. I'd rather have Josh Jacobs over Jonathan Taylor. Like, I feel better about the receiving upside with JT and that offense, like, touchdowns upside. Like, it's in conversation. Like, I don't want to say for sure.
Yeah, I'm not
definitely in conversation.
Yeah, they're close. They're close.
Like, they're in the same tier. Like, I think it's all like, I think Josh Jacobs just gets a lot of unnecessary. I don't even want to say hate. He's just good value. Like, because once again, there's so many good running backs in that 1 through 12 range that it's just like, he's a workhorse running back.
Nobody likes Josh Jacobs because how he did him in that fantasy championship that one year where he said he was playing and then he was like, "Oh, I don't care about the fantasy guys." Like, that's why everybody.
And people are also just like, he was bad the year after that monster season he had. Yeah. Like, he wasn't very good. So people.
Josh Jacobs is like top 10 every single season. Though.
Yeah,
literally every year. I want to say Josh Jacobs has been outside of like 1 year. I want to say he's. Let me see. I'm about to pull it up.
In half-point PPR leagues last year, he was high. He finished higher than Devon Achane.
Because damn near every. So 8, 11, 3, 28, and 6. And this year, he only played 13 games.
Yeah. And that offense was abysmal that year.
Abysmal, yeah. Did I say he aims for more long runs this year? Ripping off more long runs? That's crazy.
Damn, I'm fucking up.
What else is new? Your team is ass. Your team is ass.
It's not, bro.
Your team is ass.
RB2 is a little rough.
Yeah. You said team 2
the
is
wide
rough?
receivers are nice. Those 3 wide receivers are good.
What? Them 3 receivers is mid.
Who are you talking about? Wide receivers?
No, he said team 2. HD vibes.
No, I said his wide receivers.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about team 2 for some reason.
I'll take my white ass. You know what? Obviously this is a second draft. Instead of going back to back QB, I'll probably snag one here and then like a running back or one then another wide receiver. Yeah, because there's still some work here at QB that I could.
Yeah, you should have took a back. You should have took at least one running back right there.
Yeah.
Well, the thing too is that like his followers don't draft quarterbacks. I feel like if this was a regular super flex league, you would have had to go 2 quarterbacks there.
This is regular. What's wrong with this one?
This is not how a normal super flex draft is going to go.
See, this one. Let me get one of your drafts, bro. Let me see.
Okay, you go in a normal super flex league. The quarterbacks are going to be gone early.
I think in mock drafts they are.
But I do think like it's funny that you say that because I do think if like Jahan or myself were in like one of the normal quote unquote normal leagues, I think our team would be outstanding.
Yeah, I'm just saying for you. I'm saying that you should have gone 2 quarterbacks there. I'm saying in a normal super flex league, it would have been the smart thing because the quarterbacks would have dried up at your next pick. I don't think that all those guys would have been available.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
Like that's what I'm saying.
I think so, but I also have been in leagues where like I've been in a lot of fantasy leagues, and I think that there's always it's like divided. So you can play in a league where there's like 10 teams that all want to take quarterbacks, but I played in a lot of superflex leagues. Half of the people think that way, and then there's another half who doesn't. And you know what ends up happening when the money is on the line? Those people say, oh, shit, I took quarterback too early, and they start panicking. They'll go and they'll be like, oh, let me get C.J. Stroud early. And then they're realizing, oh, shit, I didn't need to do that because nobody else, the other 6 teams look stacked compared to mine. And then they start panicking. So I think it depends on who you draft with. If you draft with like, and I don't know who's watching, right? If you draft and all of your friends do that, that's fine. But I've seen a lot of leagues where it's more divided, where it's like maybe half the teams think that way and the other half don't. And I see those teams that took a quarterback in the first round really start to pivot in like that third, second round. They're like, oh, shit, I messed up. You could tell.
Yeah.
P, we was in a league like that last year, P, where like there was a couple teams that took quarterback mad early, and I was like, oh, y'all fucked up.
Yeah. It was really like me, you, and like one other dude, Bodacious.
Yeah.
Who was going heavy wide receiver in the first like 3 rounds in a super flex. Bodacious, I know. And don't get me started. But he won the league.
Hey, but he did right though.
Oh, no, he got number 2. The dude with Achan ended up winning the league.
Achan, I feel like Achan might be
Yeah.
Gabe said, are you rocking with the squad? Toker Jones, Jefferson, Taylor, Brees Hall, DK, O'Dunes. Oh my God, yeah, I'm rocking with the squad, bro. Hell yeah, this is elite.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
You wouldn't say that?
I would say it's a pretty good squad.
Yeah. It's good. It's pretty good. I don't know.
Where's he weak at?
I think he could have been better at quarterback. Kyler Murray. It's like for me, Kyler Murray is like a shell of himself. I think he's more of a name. He doesn't really run too much anymore. They're more of a running team based off their running backs, not necessarily him. He's injury prone. I think your team would have been way better if you had Dak. If you went Dak there.
Dak was gone though.
No.
Yeah, Dak was on the way. Dak was taken right before him.
Or even Caleb Williams.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good. I just don't like Rome personally.
You don't like Rome?
No.
No, Rome is about to take that next step, bro.
And there's just that offense has so many mouths to feed.
So hey, by the way, Toker, I don't know how you do it, but like I feel like I draft with you in a lot. You're in these drafts a lot, and I feel like you draft better than I do. Like I'd be like, you take my advice, like you draft a very similar way to I, but you draft better than me.
You said already that you like Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
You like Hollywood Brown.
This is a J-Hen team.
This is a J-Hen team.
Yeah, this is a J.
I think it's a very good team. I do think it's a very good team.
Njoku.
Yeah. I feel like he takes what I says and implements it, and I'll be like, damn, like your team is fucking stacked.
Like, come on, son.
That team is lit.
It is a good team. I'm looking. It's not a bad team at all.
Hollywood down there in the 11th, like, yeah, that team to me, that team is stacked.
I gotta take your guy, Ty.
Hey, real quick. I don't know if I'm gonna clip this up or not, but predict Bayshal Tutin's numbers. Go ahead. Let me hear it. What's the prediction on his numbers?
His numbers?
Yeah.
I don't think it. I think it's. Go ahead, Tom.
I'll say 750 rushing yards.
Hell no.
What? You think way less than that?
Yes.
I think he'll be. This is what I like.
Let me get in here.
If I was going to set his over under, I would set it at like 375 yards.
I think where his value is.
You can take that line. I'll give you that line on the over.
I'll take the over on that. Easy. What are you putting down?
How much?
You tell me how much.
What you want? Tell me. 375 and a half. We'll call it 375 and a half.
375 and a half.
All right, I'll take the over. Give me. We'll put 100 on it.
100's good.
All right, deal.
375 and a half on Bayshall too.
One thing that I'll say is,
once
again, Liam Cohen likes running backs that can catch the football. Tank Bigsby is ass. He cannot catch.
Bayshall.
That is where Tank Bigsby is going to be the odd man out. Travis Etienne has not been efficient whatsoever for like 2 years now. I think Travis Etienne is the guy. I like Travis Etienne. But Bayshall Tootin may have the most upside here.
Here's what I think.
If he can keep the ball.
We got it, bro.
I'm not in on Etienne. You know, I think that a lot of regimes been trying to get rid of him. I think for as good as he is catching the ball, he's not as good running the rock. You know what I mean? Between the tackles. I think that where Tootin's value is the fact that it can either be a floor or it can be a huge boom based off of the talent that they already have there, lack thereof, and the regime that has drafted him, and the fact that he is like physically wise, like he's huge and he runs like a 4.3. Right? Like the talent is there. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a huge boom, and getting him as late as you can in the drafts, I think you could do a whole lot worse.
Yeah, we'll see. It
just comes down to like I think one of the big problems he had in college was he had, I want to say, 9 fumbles.
Yeah, he's got a fumble problem.
If he doesn't hold on to the ball, he won't play. Like it's that simple. But I do think, you know, kind of what you were saying is the rushing. He could be this team's. It could be very reminiscent of last year with like Rashad White and Bucky Irving, where he's just the better runner between the tackles than Travis Etienne is. So he's the preferred rushing back, where Travis is the preferred, you know, more of the Rashad White role. Maybe 700 was a little. It just comes like there's going to be a back that's going to have 700 rushing yards in this offense. I don't know which one it's going to be, but there's going to be one of them.
You're just betting on him being like the starter.
I don't even know if I like Travis. I like taking Travis because Travis is at least like proven. I think that people he was the RB3 just like 2 years ago. Like people forget that kind of stuff. Like he was very good in fantasy football, and that team fell apart down the stretch along with him. But he was a top 3 back in fantasy football. Everybody kind of forgets about that.
Yeah. I'll let y'all take two. How y'all feeling about your teams, man? Feel good?
I'm not mad at it. You know, I could have went earlier on running back, but I'm not mad at it.
I don't mind my team. I wish I would have probably gotten. Yeah, I just had to go. I felt like Trey McBride was falling a little bit too far.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take him. I wish I would have had maybe, you know, another running back there in my top 6 picks, like one more running back.
Yeah.
But Trey, like that's kind of the one thing you have to kind of sacrifice is if you're going to draft one of those tight ends, you're just going to be a little bit short on your like wide receiver 2 or running back 2 spot. And I feel like that's the one spot. But McBride was just falling a little bit too much. I felt like I had to take him.
I feel like I like my squad. I got some good floor and upside. Only thing I didn't realize is I got both Tampa receivers, which I have a tendency to do because they're both good values most of the time. But I like my squad. If Godwin obviously needed to be healthy, and I wish I got another receiver instead of taking another back with those 3 picks that I got back there. But I like my squad.
Yeah, I like your squad. It's not a bad squad.
I feel like Tucker Jones had a good squad.
Mm-hmm. I liked his team.
Yeah,
I like that team right there.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good team too.
Like I like the running back duo. You got 2 good wide receivers too, and then you know, you get 2 good quarterbacks. I mean, I personally would not have went with CJ Stroud. I would have went with a different quarterback.
Yeah.
With CJ Stroud, but like
you went early.
I would have went with like
Dak.
Kyler, Dak, even had Dak and Drake May as my 2 quarterbacks, and I think that would have made the squad better personally. But like if I could just switch that pick, I think that would be one of the best teams personally.
Yeah, that's a good squad.
That's a nice squad.
Yeah.
Even that squad right there, I like the big boy, because you got good quarterbacks, 3 good wide receivers. I don't like all those tight ends though.
Yeah, you got to hope the rookie running
3
back
tight
is
ends.
Igbuka though as your third, as your fourth receiver. I don't know about that.
Oh,
and 3 tight ends.
Godwin's done, so yeah.
Godwin's done. Dang.
Yeah,
we're gonna see how these combos go mid-season, bro. Let us know if you guys are watching, rate the drafts in the comments. If you guys are watching after the live session, rate the drafts in the comments. Who's your favorite team? Let us know. Make sure to hit the like on the video too. We'll get a different one in. Obviously, fellas, good mock drafting with y'all. Appreciate you guys joining us in the comment section. Y'all's got anything else before we get off?
Start mocking it up now. Start mocking it up now, man. Knock the rest off.
We're going to be back this week.
In RB1 season.
Oh, my God. I told you, Kamani be down all over again, man. Nah, we definitely are going to get more mock drafts. Mock draft Monday. So if you want to be a part of the mock drafts, make sure you join the Discord. They'll be on Mondays for now. Probably as the season gets a little closer, we'll ramp them up. But at least for now, they'll be on Mondays. Until next time, y'all. Peace.